Kilda banner, and it will be going towards 600 goals for Tony Lockett. So, yes, well, I think he might have got that last week anyhow. The umpires come onto the ground. Richmond crashed through their banner. Umpires Garrett and Vernon come onto the ground, and here's Rombarassi.
Thanks, Rex. Well, Richmond should also crash through, or try to crash through St Kilda, who are now just entering the arena. And I think they've been in a very fierce and mean mood, the Tigers. However, in St Kilda, they meet a team which I think, certainly on paper, therefore in theory, is better equipped, in better form, and are actually a better side than Richmond. But just the same, because of, I believe Richmond were very keen to win this match, unless St Kilda really have their talent matching their desire, well, then they could be in trouble. This is one of the games the old St Kilda would have perhaps been very much in danger of losing. If they'd been beaten, it would have come as no surprise to anyone. This match, to lose this match, St Kilda will surprise if they do. That's just not on with the talent that they have. They've added to this talent this year, as pointed out by Bondi earlier in the session. Very much a lucky side, St Kilda, so far, in that they've had not many injuries, and so we see them equipped with a lot of their talent every week, and that's pretty much an essential these days. But the boys at St Kilda are maturing. They have been increased in strength in the air and in ability to swap from end to versatility, I'm getting, is the word I'm getting at, in Morris, who can play at both ends of the ground. We know that Lowe can, although he's been for most of his career at St Kilda a forward. His improvement this year, particularly in his kicking, is terrific. Lockett, well, we can almost just have a pause there. We know what Lockett can do. Coghlan, Antrobus, I'll just be interested to see how Tony Antrobus goes today, because his career in the AFL has been very unlucky, but it also has been spoiled by the fact that he's been severely undisciplined, in my opinion, and there's no other word for it. We want to be nice and pussyfoot around, but that is the actual fact. He has a lot of talent, he has exciting pace, he has innovativeness. He's not a run-of-the-mill style player, and I'd like, for one, to see him succeed. But talking about a player with tons of talent who is succeeding and who did come from the same city, Adelaide, young McAdam. He is an exceptional player, and it's players like he and Winmar, allied together with the newfound stronger discipline down at St Kilda, that should make this a win for that team. But Richmond, I've mentioned a lot about St Kilda. What about the Tigers? Well, they have many, many good players. The trouble is with the Richmond is that they're talent amongst the big men, if it is there, I'd be surprised, but it's certainly not showing out in comparison with their small men. That is where they win most of the matches and put up most of their good displays, through their smaller men, and they can be the danger to St Kilda today. Good luck to Hoggy. That's what the banner for the cheer squad said, and I thoroughly concur. I always like to see a guy play well in his 100th game.
Thank you to Rombarassi, selecting St Kilda for Samsung Electronics. Let's go to Graham Bond on the wing position, members side, MCG.
Thanks, Rex. Well, the ground's in excellent condition, considering the way we saw VFL Park yesterday. The MCG is looking a picture. The centre of the ground is very hard. The umpires are practising bouncing the ball out there now, and they're having no trouble at all. Across here in front of the members stand, it's a little bit soft, but the reserve players had no trouble with it either. The wind at the moment is coming from the north. If anything, it will be favouring the punt road end, but I don't think there's a great advantage there. The two umpires today are both from Western Australia. We have Grant Vernon and in his second game, Trevor Garrett. So both sides on the ground in all readiness here. Back to you at the commentary division on behalf of Samsung Electronics.
For today, for tomorrow.
Tyrants gone, like the tiger of old. We're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger, yellow and black. We're from Tigerland. Oh, when the Saints go marching in, oh, when the Saints go marching in, oh, how I want to be with St Kilda when the Saints go marching in.
Now, 3AW's Match of the Day. Brought to you by CIG Gas and Gear Centres, Synovus, Dan Murphy Cellars, Makita, and 1278 3AW. Talking football.
Back here at the MCG, The toss has been won and lost, and both sides move to their positions.
Very interesting. I'm a great supporter of law and order, but I'd like to mention the deployment of the police force here this afternoon. Whilst the toss was being taken, 4 police surrounded the umpires. 1 was looking after the crowd on the arena, and 1, from what I could see, inside. So I rather suspect that the deployment needs rearranging. I think police out in the centre of the ground is a crazy thing anyhow at the start of the game. Danny Frawley won the toss and elected to kick to the punt road end.
We do welcome you on behalf of Synovus Vitamins to an interesting Sunday game. Before we bounce, let's go to Sam Newman at Cardinia Park.
Well, what a start, and very tough, very physical, and Forsman has been given a free kick right in front of goal for Geelong. No score yet.
Thank you very much. As we see Plugger Lockett heading down to the punt road end of the ground. His opponent this afternoon, picking him up, looks a bit like Turner to me, but we'll keep that monitored. The bounce goes down. Knocked out by Vidovic. Here comes St Kilda. Members centre wing. Going in, Danny Frawley. Fresh air shot went out to the flea. Wakeman hand passes inboard. Looking for who? Well, he found him anyhow, and here they go through the agency of Smith to right half forward Richmond, and the ball stumped over the boundary line and out of bounds.
What's Danny Frawley doing in the middle of the play so early?
Very, very good question. We'll just have a look at that because he's nowhere near full back at the moment. Ball back into play. Out it comes. Knocked out by Vidovic. Hand pass came from Lambert to Wakeman. Smothered by Craven. Craven on hands and knees. Got it back to Vidovic. In turn, here come the Saints again. They're going to go through Grant. Crunch went the ball. Here comes Frawley again, centre wing. Skew whip kick, turned end over fist. Down towards McAdam. Closely followed over the boundary line by Brendan Bauer. And the ball is out of play. Here's Graham Bond.
I think Frawley was looking for Hogg, who started well up the field, Rex.
Ball out of play. More towards wing than half forward. Left attacking flank. St Kilda going to the punt road end. Over the top, Stuart Lowe has infringed. And there's going to be a free kick, and it's going to go to the big fellow Turner. So Turner is going to take the kick, and Andy Goodwin has picked up Lockett. So there'll be a bit of fire there. Iron Mike Tyson's brother has got Tony Lockett. So there goes the kick to half forward. Devonport goes up. Marks for St Kilda. Hand passes backwards to Russell Morris. His high ball goes towards McAdam. From behind, Brendan Bauer punches. Bauer's got the football. Tackled by Newport. Over the top to Andropus. Ralph Smith on the draw takes the kick. Down towards Rice. He's up. Good play there. Richmond take it away through the agency of Young, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds.
On the half forward flank on the outer side, down at the punt road end, St Kilda's attacking end, and back into play it comes. Doing the ruck work there was Lowe, and he won the contest, knocked it out over towards centre half forward. Powell raced at the ball, couldn't control it, peeking in there as well. Players over the top of it. Harvey had it. I think he may have just thrown it out. However, it went to Craig Smith, and eventually it came out to Turner. Turner kicks it long in towards the centre of the ground. Contest there, down in the direction of Nash. He allowed it to go to Lambert. Lambert pumps a hand pass quickly across to Gale, and Gale gave it further afield, going upfield and booting it along up towards the half forward line, up towards the forward pocket on the members' side of the ground, and it's gone over the line for 1 point. 1 point only on the 3RW scoreboard. 1 point only on the 3RW Synovus Vitamin scoreboard. And that's the first score of the match, 2 3/4 minutes into the game at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Now the ball about to be kicked back into play, and they're coming in now, full-back, booting it back into play, and it's coming upfield, up towards the centre half-forward position for Richmond. Down to the ground it goes. It was an opportunity for Waitman, but Mitchell got it. Then to Lambert, was very quick and slick football. Booted upfield, up towards the full-forward spot again, and 1 point only from the boot of Nash as it bounces through. So the Tigers on 2 behinds.
Let's go to Sam Newman.
Geelong at 2 straight goals, 12 points. Essendon a 1 straight goal, 6 points.
Ball about to be kicked back into play. 3.5 minutes into the quarter, just a tap in, and Devonport takes the mark unattended in the back pocket on the members' side, down at the railway or scoreboard end. Devonport now, who has had a spell out of the game. We've seen him play some useful football. Kicks it upfield. Winmar nearly took the specky. Down to the ground it goes. Over towards the half-back flank. It'll be picked up by Craven. Going away from half-back flank, he spears the ball into the centre of the ground. Andrews rose and took the mark in the centre of the ground for St Kilda. Now taking the ball under control at the centre. He's going to get it, work it backfield to Ralph Smith. Coming up on the centre wing on the member's side. Ralph Smith has driven it long. Lockett was out a little bit too far for the kick, and Cloak dropping back has taken the mark.
So two-man tactics. Cloak hand passes to Mitchell. Mitchell's got to play at Turner if he wants him. Turner marks and runs away. Hand passes towards Waitman. Centre wing member's side. Here come the Tigers. Lead from Hogg. Hogg goes up and takes the mark. Good play, Ralph Smith, but Hogg in his 100th game is marked right half forward, main scoreboard end. Here comes the lead from Gale. Hogg's gone long. Behind goes the football. Richmond, 3 behind, 3 points. St Kilda yet to score. St Nova's Vitamin scoreboard, Ron Barassi.
Well, I hope the St Kilda kicked up towards Tony Lockett's area better than they did with Ralph Smith's kick. It was absolutely disgraceful.
Jones has got a short. It came off to Devonport, who marked 35 metres out. He kicks it over the top, looking for Craven, who will mark. Here comes Tony Free, but Craven has marked more half-back than centre. He'll hand pass to David Grant. Grant accepts a hand pass. Watch out, here comes Gale. A worm burner to Harvey. Through his hands, over the top, Pekin skews it around. Here comes Lowe. And Stuart Lowe marks in front of Turner, and Stuart Lowe has got 50. Well, that was red hot. He's played on, advantage play. No, there's time on. Time on has been blown by umpire Grant Vernon, and Lowe will line up, Ron.
Yes, I go along with that. It's a very severe penalty, but he's making sure with an early decision like that, the umpire, I guess, that he's putting his authority on the game. That's the theory anyway, and of course it's an absolute certain goal now.
Stuart Lowe's kicked a goal. The umpire's fallen over, but St Kilda have got the first major on the St Nova's Vitamin scoreboard. St Kilda 1 straight goal, 6. Richmond 3 behind, 3 points. For St Nova's Vitamins, let's go to Cardinia Park with Sam Newman.
Geelong 2 straight goals, 12 points. Essendon 1-1-7.
Well, Danny Frawley's picked up Ryan. Scott is playing in the full forward position, noticeable by the thigh pads. And the score is 1 goal to 3 behind. St Kilda leading. 6 minutes into the quarter. At the bounce, it's Vidovic. Tapped it down, but was going to be pinched there by Ryan going across the path of play there. Picking it up onto the left foot, driving it upfield. Ball spills loose over in the direction of Grant. He got it, or tried to get down to Nathan Burke. Couldn't do so, but they'll take it away through Ralph Smith, kicking towards centre wing. And over there's Harvey, showing a little bit of pace, more than I thought he had. Got it to McAdam. McAdam runs up to the half-forward line, used his full measure of distance. In towards centre half-forward. Punched away from Lockett by Turner, down to Waitman. Waitman's hand pass in the centre of the ground is excellent, and Richmond through Tony Free. Hand pass it back into Mitchell. Mitchell going further afield. Sees on the half-forward flank Pickering. Pickering's got the mark on the 50-metre line. Let's play. 1 point only. Wasn't a bad passage of play, Ronald.
Terrific the way they moved the ball across, but it might be a bit of a crosswind there, the way that ball went. The Tigers certainly attacked enough to get more than their paltry score of 4 points.
Jones in short into the pocket, and there it goes again. Ralph Smith being the recipient this time. He took the mark, drives it around the outer side of the ground, looking over there for Harvey. Harvey wobbling away over towards the boundary line. Interception there, and they've worked the ball beautifully across to Newport. Newport in towards the forward pocket, half forward flank area, knocking it away. Over there was Rogers. It was Powell picking it up quickly, getting away from the opponents now. Now he knocks it further afield, but it comes back up to Waitman, taking the ball under control there. That was Powell getting it back up to Waitman. Waitman further field, and they're going right through the centre of the ground, the Tigers, with Bauer booting it up towards the full forward spot. Through the hands of the packet went, not off the hands, through the hands, down on the ground in the forward pocket on the member's side. Davenport up there may get the free kick. No, play on is the call, and still play on at the centre half forward spot. Nace got it out to Waitman. Waitman's given it to Pickering, 45 metres out, left foot snap. 1 step was all he had time to take, and it's through for 1 point and 8 minutes into the quarter. We find the Tigers inaccurate on 5 behinds. St Kilda have kicked a goal.
So we've got the full-back position occupied by Jones, who's got a short. He'll kick it to Ralph Smith, who marks in front of Ralph Knights. Well, it's Matthew Knights. So Ralph Smith, he's at right half-back, kicks it down towards Vidovic. Punched away down there by Gale. Picked up by Pickering of Richmond in towards centre half-forward, and Devonport is marked for St Kilda. Left half-back flank. And he's going to transfer play. No, he changed his mind. So now he comes out to the wing position. Up goes Pekin. Up goes Pickering. Couldn't take the mark for Richmond. Stacks on the mill. Pickering's got it. Hoisted it out, but Winmar picked it up, but kicked it with his foot that dribbled over the boundary line and out of bounds. It's quite clear the tactics on Lockett. you'll find that Cloak will play 10 metres in front of Lockett, and Andy Goodwin will stand shoulder to shoulder with the man Mountain in front of the smokers stand. Ball back into the stadium, knocked out by Vidovic of St Kilda, kicked off the ground there by Free. Diving Hogg couldn't take the mark. Here comes Grant. Grant couldn't take it. Hogg hand passes to Mitchell, but it went too far. Ralph Smith knocked it on. Picked it up, Ralph Smith. A skew with hand pass. Tony Free came through. Craven crashes his way through. Got it to Newport. Wormburner. Pekin, centre wing position. Over the top. Here come Richmond Lees. Got it to Waitman. A long ball. Free kick. And 50 metres.
Well, I will be blowed if that was a free kick to St Kilda.
Well, I don't think it was either, because the crowd noise wasn't that great. If it was really great, you could say, well, the player just didn't hear it.
Well, the players were totally confused, Ron. That's why they kicked the ball using the advantage rule as they thought, and they found it's turned over. Anyhow, Pekin's got the free kick. 50-metre line up to Lockett, and Lockett's marked. That was really a doubtful one. And as a result of the 50-metre penalty, Lockett's taken the mark, because he marked the kick to him, of course. And he'll shoot from about 25 to 30 metres out, and one would be prepared to back him, seeing that he's so accurate in his goal kicking. It's 1 goal to St Kilda, and Richmond are on 5 behinds, and Lockett lining them up down at the Punt Road end. Coming off the 50-metre line, just a short step or two. In fact, he's walking at the moment. Just now accelerates into a jog, and he's put it on its way, and you wouldn't have lost your money. It's a goal. So Richmond remain on 5 behind. St Kilda go on to 2 goals on the 3W Synovus Vitamin scoreboard.
Cardinia Park, let's go to Sam Newman.
Well, Essendon lead by 3 points. They're 2-3-15. Geelong 2 straight goals, 12 points.
Shortly to John Murphy. Ball back in the centre of the ground for St Kilda. Lowe and Lockett have kicked the goals. And umpire Trevor Garrett has got the football, officiating in his second league game. Both umpires today from Western Australia. 10.5 minutes have gone. Ball high in the air. Knocked out by Gale. Got it to Waitman, who has been prominent, and Hogg marks at centre half forward. Hogg has got the football. He's going to pick out Scott and go long with a bomb. Scott's got Jones, and Scott's taken the mark. It was either a mark or a goal. So Richmond will score a goal from point-blank range. Number 43, young Scott for Richmond. A very, very nice mark over the top of Jones of St Kilda. His angle is 45 degrees. Hoists up the socks, picks up the football, and will line it up. Morris goes behind to just try and put him off. And here we have young Scott for Richmond. Here comes the dunny paper, and he's going to come back and have another shot. This probably is his first kick in league football. No, it isn't, says Graham Bond.
He's already kicked 3 goals in his career, but we saw him kick 11 in the reserves about 3 weeks ago.
That's what I mean. You can't legislate for idiots.
That's right. Okay. The toilet paper is gone, and there is a goal. It's a goal to Richmond by Alastair Scott, playing his 3rd game today. Richmond 1-5-11, St Kilda 2 straight goals, 12. Sam Newman for Synovus Vitamins.
Essendon by 4 points. Geelong just kicked a goal, so Geelong lead by 2 points. They're 3 straight goals, 18. Essendon 2-4-16.
For 30 seconds to set the scene, here's John Murphy.
Both sides out on the ground, and 2 minutes before the game starts, in perfect conditions in Brisbane.
12 minutes into the quarter here, St Kilda 2 goals, Richmond 1-5. When I said you can't legislate for idiots, just as the boy was going to take his kick, somebody threw a roll of paper out on the ground at him. Ridiculous. 2 goals to 1-5. St Kilda leading by 1 point. The whistle is blown. There's one too many in the square somewhere, and the free kick is going to go to Richmond. I thought they're running the other way. The field umpire's running the other way anyhow. Talk about the state of confusion at the present time. Vidovic's got the free kick, and his one umpire went 1-1, the other went the other way. The ball now loose on the half-back line for Richmond. Turner got it, grabbed it, and booted out to the member's side of the ground. Pickering thought that it was going to be too long, and eventually it was. And it's over the line, out of bounds to be thrown in at a spot midway between centre wing and half-forward flank for the Saints as they go around the member's side of the Punt Road end. The ball about to be thrown back into play now. Ruckman coming up to do battle. In there will be the big fellow Gale, knocked it down. It looked like Gale knocking it down to Waitman. Waitman bundled over the line, and over the line he gets a free kick for a push in the back. Now that's fair enough. I got an idea these 2 WA umpires are a bit toey one way and the other. Waitman drives it back across the field over to the Pickering. Pickering will have to gather some pace. He didn't gather enough. Kicked it awkwardly up to centre wing position. Loose to Davenport, centre wing member's side. Davenport boots it long up towards centre half forward. Low. If Lockett's a certainty to kick goals, Lower's a certainty to mark when he gets near it. Lower's kicked to Lockett's lead. He's got away, led to the pocket, and over there, over the top it went. Might have been a bit of a nudge there from his opponent, Andy Goodwin, but it's out of bounds to be thrown back into play. Actually, Lockett lost his opponent for a moment there. When I say he lost him, he outmanoeuvred him and got into the pocket, but the kick was a bit too slow. It had the distance, but it didn't get to him quickly enough. The ball out of bounds in the forward pocket on the member side at the punt road end and spinning back into play in there doing the ruck work. Oh, big thump away, has knocked it over towards the boundary line by Turner, and it's over the line, just drifted over to be thrown back into play in the region of the forward pocket on the member side at the punt road end. 14 minutes have gone by in the quarter, and St Kilda have kicked 2 goals in that time. Richmond 1-5, and the ball about to be spun back into play again. It is Cloak doing the ruck work at the moment. Lowe beat them all for it. It's might have been a free kick to the Saints there. It would have been a Tiggy Touchwood. Out it comes, still on the half-forward line. Pickering takes it away, gives it to Free. Free going upfield, kicks to the half-forward line. Knocked away from Hogg by Frawley. It's on centre wing position now. Craven left high, nearly had it, went to McAdam. He flung it out very smartly. Up there, over there to Pekin, and works its way up to Harvey. Harvey back to Devonport to Harvey. Harvey's in some trouble. Ball, they said, no way known, went to McAdam. McAdam got it across to Craven. 35 metres out. He's kicked it upfield, and it's gone through for 1 point, close to 1 point. Lowe had it for a moment. The ball very close to the boundary line now, and the Saints still get the ball under control with a swinging kick by Rice. And if there was a prima holiday goal of the day today, that one would take some beating. It's St Kilda's third goal, 18 points. So Richmond 1-5-11.
For Synovus Vitamin, Sam Newman.
Geelong by a point, 3 straight goals, 18. Essendon 2-5-17.
John Murphy.
Play just about to start.
All back in the centre. Here's Ron Barassi.
Well, a terrific passage of play there, an excellent example of people saying the handball's overdone, but each time the handball receiver got the ball, he had to handball again.
Umpire Grant Vernon, ball down, knocked out by Vidovic. Here comes Harvey, lobing along. Hand passes to Vidovic, in turn hand passing further to Nathan Burke. On the draw to Morris. Morris a long bomb. Lockett versus 2. Cloak, Goodwin, Lockett. Thumped away by Lockett. Turner goes in for Richmond. Close to the boundary line. Here comes Rice. Can't do anything about it. Lockett has a scoop. And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. The tactics are clear on Tony Lockett from...
Yes, Cloak playing 15 metres in front.
Ball back into play. Here it comes. Thump goes Cloak. Goes 20 metres in the air. Over the top comes Nash. Can't take the football, but it goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. 24.5 metres to the right pocket for the St Kilda goal at punt road end. Ball back into play. Turner for Richmond up. Here comes Smith. Hand pass further afield. Got it out, and here they come through. Smith got the hand pass from Waitman. Kicked it to Lees. Lees of Richmond marks. Runs around Pekin. Handballs to Bauer. Bauer accepts the hand pass. 2 bounces. Members wing. McAdam can't catch him. 3 bounces. Long kick. Here comes Smith. Can't take the mark. Scott there as well. Over the top, Frawley. Hand passes back to Devonport. Does a woof-woof bird. Kicked off and touched. And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds in front of the smokers' stand.
That's a pretty classic case of underestimating a bloke's speed. Bauer didn't get away from McAdam, but he took some catching. The ball now on the half-forward line on the member side of the ground. Half-forward line for Richmond as they go towards the scoreboard end. Back into play. I think Pickering got the biggest share of that. Went down very quickly to Winmar. Winmar's kick has dribbled over the line to be thrown back into play. Not quite centre wing position, but in that region on the member side of the ground. 17.5 minutes in. St Kilda 3 goals to 1-5, and that's a fair reflection of the play on the 3AW Synovus Vitamin scoreboard. Boundary umpire now whistles it back into play. In there doing the ruck work and doing it quite well was Vidovic. He got it down, but Lee's intercepted. Kicked it to the player coming across his path. Rebounded out. There might be a free kick against Harvey there. And the free kick is going to go to Lees of Richmond on centre wing on the member side of the ground. Lees now coming up to take the kick. The umpire positions a man on the mark, then call play on. Up towards the half-forward line it goes. Ryan was in there. It came out to Winmar. A long hand pass by Winmar out to Antrobus. Was effective. This one not so much, but it went down to Jones. He in turn hand pass to Morris, who's got to get around a tackle and does it easily. Morris now spears it into the centre of the ground, and in there to take the mark and take it easily was Ralph Smith. Hand passing quickly further afield, and they boot into attack over there from Antrobus. Up towards centre half forward, and Lockett's got the mark. The Saints did that pretty well, the way they went around that outer flank. And they might have 2 on Lockett down there, but they're going to have their hands full, the pair of them. Because he's kicked a goal, he's outsmarted them a couple of times. He did then. and he's going to kick from 40 metres out directly in front of goal. So if you had any money on the last bet, double it. 3 goals to 1-5 as Lockett comes in, back off the 50-metre line. He'll show us he walks in. Takes some time walking too, and walking now commences like describing a marathon. This Lockett coming over the 50-metre line, shuffles a little bit, then walks in, puts the ball on its way, and you go and collect your money. The bookmakers are going to go broke today. St Kilda have kicked 4 goals for a total of 24 points. Richmond are 1-5-11. 19 minutes have been played.
Sam Newman at Kardinia Park for Synovus Vitamins.
Geelong by a point, 3 straight goals, 18 points. Essendon 2-5-17.
John Murphy.
Fitzroy, 1 goal, Brisbane yet to score.
For St Kilda, Lockett's booted 2 of their 4. 1 Lowe and Rice. For Richmond, Scott has kicked their goal. Ball back into centre, 19 and a half minutes in. Ball thump. Into the ground it goes and rises 11 metres, knocked out by Vidovic, playing well. Kicked forward by Naish of Richmond to centre half forward where Knights takes a class mark. He's on the draw on the left boot. Got a lead from Scott. Now he goes. Low trajectory kick. Scott will go up and take a great mark, young fellow. By jingo, that was a good mark, Ron.
It certainly was a terrific kick by Knights, too, beautifully placed. I think it was Craven then coming there from the front. If it wasn't Craven, whoever it was for St Kilda, it was an act of courage there, but a fine mark, kept his eye on the ball, and there's a lot of reason for him to waver in his concentration because of the incoming player from St Kilda, but a very, very good effort for the young boy.
Scott, 28 metres and a goal. He's got 2. Number 43 for Richmond, and his 3rd game has got a couple. St Kilda have 4 straight goals, 24. Richmond 1-5-11. 20 and a half in. Sam Newman at Kardinia Park.
Geelong by 2 points, 3-1-19. Essendon 2-5-17.
John Murphy.
Fitzroy, 1 goal, Brisbane yet to score.
Here's Graham Bond.
Well, Vidovic's getting the hit-outs, but the small Richmond players in Waitman and Naish are mopping up all the centre bounces. Waitman's got it away twice and Naish twice.
Umpire Trevor Garrett.
Back in the centre of the ground, 4 goals to 2-5, and ball bounced at the 20-minute mark, 21-minute mark. Actually, Vidovic a tap, didn't go anywhere at all. Still in the centre of the ground, and they're fossicking for it, and the umpire is going to come in and bounce and get things moving again. 24 points plays 17. St Kilda leading on the 3W Synovus Vitamin scoreboard. Down it goes in the centre of the ground. Gale in there, beaten by Vidovic, tapped upfield by Bauer, up towards the half-forward line. Hoggs got it, got rid of it fairly quickly. Morris there. Morris slips over as he tries to get rid of the ball. Runs into trouble with Hogg. Parnasser calls, it's knocked away, and it's going to be taken away very quickly upfield by Grant. Kicking towards centre half forward. Lowe will get it, probably no. Knocked away, or well spoiled by Turner. Down to the ground it goes. McAdam trying to thread his way through the traffic, which was heavy. He did. Lockett coming up with his 2 partners. It was punched away then, but by Goodwin. It found its way out eventually over towards the centre wing position, where it's taken under control by Free onto the right foot and kicking it up towards the centre half forward spot, but dropping back to take the mark for St Kilda is Jones. Jones at the half-back flank. Transfers play to Morris. Morris marks on the 50-metre line on the half-back flank on the members' side of the ground. 4 goals to 2-5 on the 3W scoreboard. Morris chipping up towards the centre, up towards Rice. Didn't fancy his chances. Pickering was paid a mark, and that was not quite right, Ron.
Didn't have control long enough.
No, Pickering on centre wing position now on member side of the ground. 22 minutes have gone. Pickering kicks it across up towards the forward pocket area. They massed there. Jones leapt from behind. Didn't have much chance then. Down to Waitman. Waitman's rolled over by a couple of players. Play on as a call. Picked up by Jones, and a quick snap just drifted offline at the last moment. It looked all set, dead set, as if it might be another goal, but the mark was taken up there for St Kilda in the last line of defence. So Saints now coming out of defence, kicking upfield with a score 4 goals to 2 goals 5, and booted up there by Jones around towards the half-back flank position on the outer side of the ground. It's coming out in the direction of Lambert. Lambert rides his opponent into the ground. Play on as the call. Came out there very quickly to Mitchell. Mitchell trying to work the ball out, and he's got it now. Hand passing quickly further afield, and they go from the boot upfield of Naish, and this might be a chance. This is a goal. That was good football. And 10 out of 10 to Mitchell for his efforts there. It's 4 goals to 3 goals 5, just a point in favour of the Saints.
Here's Ron Barassi.
That was a sensational hand pass. They talk about the rocket hand pass, ladies and gentlemen. That's the one that goes level with the with the ground. It has no loop in the trajectory and just goes like a rocket. And we saw that go whip by Mitchell right across to Nash, and Nash did the rest.
Ball back in the centre. Good bounce. Up high was Gale. Got it further afield. Hand pass came out from Nash down towards Gale again. Morris is held for St Kilda, and Morris has the full control of the ball at centre half back at the main scoreboard end. He's put a high ball down towards Stuart Lowe. Thumped away by Turner on the draw. Winmar. Here comes Lockett. Bang! No one can stop that sensational play. Stuart Lowe went up with Lees and Turner. The ball was thumped. On the draw rebound, Winmar 30 metres, low trajectory, straight into the able phalanges of this man Mountain from St Kilda. So Tony Lockett has booted 2. He stands at a 45-degree angle, 49 metres out from goal at the Punt Road end. He now comes in very deliberate and will kick from 41 metres. The goal umpire has a bit of a look, and it's a goal. Another one. 3 to Lockett. They'll have to put 3 on this man. And on the Synovus Vitamin scoreboard, St Kilda are 5 straight goals. Richmond are 3-5-23.
There's the classic case. The classic case is if the full forward times his lead correctly and the man upfield does the right thing, nobody can stop.
Yeah, it's true. And the way St Kilda are stationing their men on the forward line, they're giving Lockett, there's still some space on this big MCG pockets for him to lead to.
Back in the centre for the Bouncers, we approach the time-on period of the first quarter. Thumped away by Vidovic, who's doing well. He got it upfield to Coghlan. Coghlan to Harvey with handball. Harvey across field, got it to Burke. Burke got it further field to Rice, and Rice up to Lockett. Oh, chip there. Well, this very likely will be his 4th goal. We don't want to moz him, but his range is certainly within his capabilities. The man standing the mark is about 45 metres out. You can call it plumb in front on practically a calm day. The breeze of no consequence. St Kilda 5 goals, 4 of them from the boot of Lockett at this stage. 3 of them. It might be 4 in a minute. The bookmakers are quaking in their shoes, and Lockett very cool and deliberate in his approach. The guys up in the building, the stand, have stopped work to have a look at him. So here he comes, over the line, he kicked it from 50 metres exactly, and he's put it on its way, and the umpire says, well, that's a point only this time. So the bookmakers have had a collect. It's 5-1 to 3-5. St Kilda leading on the 3W Synovus Vitamin scoreboard. The ball kicked back into play by Turner to Goodwin. Goodwin marks, hovering around there as Winmar. Lockett comes up to take the mark. Goodwin kicks it to centre wing, trailing around the member side of the ground, and Gale stood his ground to take a very good mark. Across it goes to Smith. 2 bounces going around the member's side. Smith kicks it towards the forward pocket. Jones leading up there, and it's knocked away from him, and every player carries it over the line, and one player went into the fence. Quite an accident as I saw it from this position. Oh dear. The free kick has gone to Antrobus, and that is ridiculous. Antrobus has the free kick. Ron might care to comment on that with his quarter-time summary. Antrobus now coming out of the half-back flank area, kicks it up to centre wing position in the front berth. Vidovic, I just said he was playing well. Can emphasise that. He's doing very well in the ruck. Now he hand passes back to Davenport. Davenport over to the centre of the ground. In that area is Rice, and Rice goes away, kicking towards Coghlan over there on the half-forward line on the outer side of the ground. It bounced a mile, knocked away by 2 or 3 players. Following up there, a chance for Nathan Burke. He was grabbed, knocked away to Mitchell. Mitchell scuttlebugged that one out to the back, and McAdam's got it. McAdam going around in a circle has kicked it over to the flank on the outer side of the ground, and tumbling in there to take the mark is Burke. Now Burke's on the half-forward flank on the outer side, hardly the flank. It's closer to the centre half-forward position than what you would normally term the flank. 27 minutes have gone by in the quarter, and Burke, by the look of it's going to have a ping, but everyone's watching Lockett, wondering if he'll lead. He's well back, he's on the fence at the Punt Road end of the ground, and Burke's coming in now. Lockett motionless, and Burke has kicked it. Lockett a chance from behind if he can spring, and can he spring? Oh, how about that? How about that for reading it, Ronald?
Beautiful, Billy.
Hey, yes. Had his name on it.
Go, Billy.
Aha, if you don't mind. Well, there you go. Lockett now from 15 to 20 metres out, and we go through the usual motions of putting the ball down and picking it up, and a little bit of a shuffle, and the score is 5-1 to 3-5, and 28 minutes have gone by as Lockett comes in now and attempt to kick another goal, and it's going to be a good player to keep him out of the best today, that's for sure. He's put on its way. Well, you better not do that too often. That's the point. So he's missed an easy one. It took the polish off the mark, really, and St Kilda 5-2 to 3-5.
Might have been a bit of justice there, Graham Bond, if you saw what I saw. A little bit of a nudge-o, wasn't it? But that's in the play. Turner kicks it out. He'll be looking for Smith, who was held against. Craven goes the football. Smith at right half back. Let's go to Sam Newman for a quick score.
It's quarter time. Geelong lead by 9 points. 4-2-26. Essendon 2-5-17.
Winmar has infringed and the umpire didn't pay it. If it had taken the mark, it would have been at the century, and Pickering can't believe his luck. Vidovic versus Gale, centre wing, members side, thumped away by Vidovic into the hands of Waitman. Here comes Burke. Rice it was, who was infringed against, and Free has taken the free kick. He centres it. He'll be looking for Nace. Where's Mitchell? Up high was Antrobus, taking the mark. Nathan Burke runs around, draws the opposition. Hand passes to Frawley. In turn, hand passes to Jones of St Kilda. A long ball down towards Coghlan. Couldn't take the mark. In trouble right across the other side. Bauer. The umpire hugs himself. And let's get a score from John Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 5 points, 2-2-14. Fitzroy 1-3-9.
29 and a half minutes first term. St Kilda 5-2-32. Richmond 3-5-23. St Avis Vitamin scoreboard. The umpire is going to just have a talk to Barry Young and Frank Coghlan and says, well, I'd like to bounce this ball, and he does just that. Into the turf. Knocked out. We'll give it to Stuart Lowe. Here comes Mitchell for Richmond. He's caught a short kick across. And he's found Lees, who hand passes it on. Bauer's got to go. Half volley bounce favours in him. He bounces now over the top to Pickering. Pickering's in the square. Here comes the lead from Scott. Punched away by Jones. The ball came out to Jones again. He's running around, but good tackle by Scott. And he's going to get the free kick. Well done, young fella. Like, he's got a bit of fire on him there, Ron.
He certainly has. In fact, the Tigers are making good fists of this. I know that Lockett could have put St Kilda 2 goals ahead of their present lead and all of that, but they're really going to make St Kilda earn every bit of this win they get, if they do get it. And this is going to be after the bell. He's adjusting his socks, having a good look at the goal. He's going to kick from about 38 metres out at an angle of about 60 degrees in front of the members' pocket here. Coming in now, beautiful. He's judged that nicely. It's just cleared, and club behaviour next door is going mad because Richmond are kicking goals, and that young boy Scott has kicked his third.
Thank you very much, Rex Hunt, shortly for some special comments, but quarter time, St Kilda are 5-2-32. Richmond are 4-5-29 in a good fight back by the Tigers. That quarter going 30 and a half minutes. Let's check your quarter time score again, Sam Newman.
Geelong lead by 9 points, 4-2-26. Essendon are 2-5-17, and Gary Hocking has kicked 3 goals for Geelong.
Did Brownless take his position?
Brownless has not taken his position. Flanagan did, and Madden is playing, so obviously Manning was never in the reserves in the first place.
Thank you for that. Let's go John Murphy, a score.
Brisbane lead by 11 points, 3-2-20. Fitzroy 1-3-9.
Thank you. Here's Bill with better players both sides.
Well, the better players. I'll bet you pounds to peanuts when Billy Della writes his report on this game, he'll say umpires nervous at the start because they've been a bit fidgety. Both Western Australian umpires, you can back it in. For Richmond, Naish, Mitchell, Smith, Gale, Free, Bauer, Pickering, Turner and Scott. For St Kilda, Lockett, McAdam, Winmar, Morris, Burke and Vidovic.
When we come back, Graham Bond has got the story on paper, and then Ron Barassi will tell us all about St Kilda's lead. It's only 3 points. St Kilda 5-2-32, Richmond 4-5-29. For St Kilda, Lockett has booted 3, Lowe and Rice have got 1 each. For Richmond, Scott has booted 3 and Naish has the other one. This is 3AW football. Sam scored Geelong and 2-5-17 Essendon. So here's Ron.
Yes, well, so it's a very high standard game considering that one of these teams is 13th on the ladder. It's, of course, Richmond. Terrific effort by some of the individuals. High quality play, foot passing, hand passing. There's Lockett and there's the video replay. Vidovic doing well.
Thank you very much. A skew whiff bounce favoured Waitman was besieged over the top. The football is under 3 players and the umpire will bounce. This man is umpire Trevor Garrett, umpiring his second game of AFL football this afternoon. 20 seconds in the second term, and the ball is high. Over the top, Vidovic was beaten by Gale, and it comes down towards Winmar. Winmar picks it up, hand passes it out to Anthropus, who got cleaned up, head high. He was up as quick as you like, and he's got the football. That's on left wing. A worm burner. It goes out towards Morris. Sold the dummy beautifully. Sold another dummy. He's in a spree. Kicks it in long towards Lockett. Over the top. Couldn't take it. Here comes Mitchell. Goes through. Kicked off the ground by Tony Free. Little Craven weaves his way through on the left boot. Puts it forward. Up towards Stuart Lowe. Thump from behind. And the football is rushed. One straight point. A solitary point, as Sam would say, as I would say. Richmond 4-5-29. Trail St Kilda 5-3-33. A minute and 10 seconds. Makita BBC scoreboard. 3RW football. Goodwin in the hands of the trainers. The trainer waving from assistance. Blood streaming from a gash over his eye. The ball comes out towards Harvey. 2 bites of the cherry. Hand pass from McAdam found Coughlin on the draw to Vidovic. He's caught. Coughlin will come in. He's tripped. Play on, said the umpy. Picked up by Free of Richmond. Kicks it out towards the outer half-back flank and marked by Nicky Winmar. So Winmar left half-back flank. Here comes Stuart Lowe. Over the top of him into the arms of Cloak. Cloak, a wobbly old punt kick. Bounces in the hard centre. Overrunning the ball there was Craven, but picked it up. Good interception by Gale of Richmond. He's got a player over there. It'll be Pickering. Pickering marks outside 50. A long bomb. Scott and Jones. Scott from behind. Needed. And Ralph Smith will take it behind. The crowd didn't like it. Might have been interception. One behind goes on the board. Richmond 4-6-30. St Kilda 5-3-33. David Grant.
Ball kicked out to the members' side of the ground, and Rice takes the mark. Goodwin and Turner ran into each other when Craven had that shot for goal, and Goodwin came off second best, hence the blood. The ball now kicked upfield to the half-back flank on the members' side, and Morris takes the mark there. Mitchell standing the mark, and Morris at St Kilda, formerly of Hawthorn, as we know, about to come in and take the kick. Had a pretty fair season, this fellow. Kicked it up towards the centre wing position. Gale in the spot there. Should have marked it, didn't. Down on the ground it went to McAdam. He lost the run of it, so too did several others. Pickering came across and knocked it away. Craven, fairly active, picked it up, lost it, went to ground himself, regained the ball, got up again, had a look around and kicked it. Up towards the full forward spot. They massed there, and it's got to be marked to Cloak. It wasn't. He dropped it, but he's going to go away with the ball. Doesn't know what to do with it. Doesn't know what to do. He turned around. He must have heard somebody sing from the other side of the ground. On it goes out looking for Bauer. Bauer's opponent has ridden into the ground, and that was a cluster. Anthropus is going to be the recipient of the free kick, but Cloak had nowhere to. He had plenty of places to go, but he didn't know which way to go. Up towards centre half forward, down to Newport. Newport knocks it back to Anthropus, still at centre half forward. Anthropus breaks away. Hand passes to Craven, who's gathering a few possessions. He goes around Bauer. Steadies now. Took far too long. Took a million miles too long in years two. Kicked off the ground by Newport. Half forward flank for the Saints on the members' side. Down at the railway scoreboard end. If ever you saw a comedy of errors, it was then.
Well, I was going to say it was spectacular play, but certainly not great quality.
Well, at 3.5 minutes into the quarter, it's 5-3 to 4-6. St Kilda still leading, and the ball being flung back into play by the boundary umpire. Knocked it down by Vidovic, a fingernail, and that was all. Went out there quickly to Craig Smith. He tried to work it across to Lambert, who's been fairly well covered by Nathan Burke, I think. And the ball has gone to ground. There'll be a bounce decision near enough to the 50-metre line on the members' side at the scoreboard end of the ground. 5-3 to 4-6 on the 3RW Makita BBC scoreboard. The boundary of the field umpire puts it down on that half-forward flank. Knocked away by Turner, picked up by Burke. Burke's kicked it across towards the full-forward position. Bounced awkwardly for Cloak. Coughlin upset Lockett, went into Lockett, into his groin. Lockett's a bit disgusted about it, and the ball goes around that outer side of the ground, over towards the boundary line, and it'll be thrown back into play on the half-forward flank for St Kilda on the outer side, and they're down at the railway or scoreboard end. The Saints are 5-3 and Richmond 4-6. The ball about to be come back into play. 4.5 minutes into the game, into quarter. Knocked away. Turner out of swipe it. I think he had a bit of it. Down the ground will be picked up by Bauer. Bauer boots wide to the outer side of the ground. Winmar leading in the race for the ball. Slipped and slid all over the place on the cricket pitch area. That is the practice cricket pitch area, and the ball is going to be bounced. It won't probably be thrown up in the air over in that position because of the nature of the ground in that particular area. 5 minutes into the quarter, umpire has got to throw it up in the air. Ruckman go in. Vidovic by a mile. Got it down quickly. It was picked up over there by Coughlin, I think it might have been. It was kicking up forward, and the ball has gone over the line out of bounds.
Goodwin's coming off the ground. They can't stop the bleeding. The doctor is getting some stitching material, and you'll find that Goodwin will be replaced. He can't see out of one eye because of the stream of blood from a nasty gash over his eyebrow. The ball came out to Androphis. Here comes Lockett. The ball into the ground. Smith has cleaned up. Richmond, Smith hand passes to Cloak. Cloak on the draw to Lambert. Lambert in turn hand passes it to Barry Young. Young of Richmond kicks it low trajectory to Mitchell, who marks in front of Langton Burke. So Mitchell's got it. Trades it across in towards the right part of the wing, going towards Punt Road. Waitman took it. Here comes Naish. And Naish hunches himself into the mark. Naish is 55 metres out from goal. And Naish has got the kick. Both the doctor and physio paying plenty of attention to a nasty gash by Goodwin, who wants to stay on, but he can't see, and he's lost all of his ability to look. So there is Naish, very close to the man on the mark. And the kick, he gets under it a bit, very high down there. Might have been Gale, who has taken a rip snorter. Very, very good mark by Brendan Gale. 2 bites of the cherry, had it clearly under control, and he's got it at point blank range. So here we go. Richmond are going to go in front through this goal by Gale. And Gale now, what can you see there, Bill?
I can see Goodwin blowing blood out of his nose.
Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble down there. He's had plenty of attention. That goal to Gale, and Richmond are ahead. Let's go to Sam Newman.
Well, it's Geelong by 4 points. They're 4-4-28. Essendon 3-6-24.
John Murphy.
Brisbane 5-5-35. Fitzroy 1-5-11.
7 minutes into the second quarter, and the Tigers are doing more than keep St Kilda on us. They're leading, and out of the centre it was Gale down to Waitman. A hurried kick and quick kick. 4 byes through the legs of Hogg up towards Naish on the half-forward line. A good long hand pass out to Pickering on that outer flank, and Pickering's kick is high up towards the forward pocket area. They massed there. Play on us to call, and rightly so. Went to Lambert. A hand pass to Waitman. A beautiful blind turn by the Flea, and he's kicked the goal. That was lovely. Lambert's hand pass, cross to Waitman, lovely blind turn, and the score is now 6-6 to 5-3 favouring the Tigers.
Waitman joins Gale and Naish single goal kickers. Scott's got 3. For St Kilda, Lockett's got 3. And the ball coming back into the centre. Let's go to Sam Newman for a score.
Geelong are 3 points ahead, 4-4-28. Essendon 3-7-25.
Just on 8 minutes gone here at the cricket ground, and down it goes in the middle of the ground. The Tigers very competitive. Gale up there. I don't think he got that. I think it was Vidovic coming out towards the members' side of the ground. Nathan Burke there, who's the Lambert shadow at the moment, picked up particularly by Craven. Craven kicks up towards centre half forward. A low beaten there for pace on that occasion. It's loose. A chance for Pickering. Play on as a call. Still at centre half forward up at the railway scoreboard end. Harvey had it, lost it, knocked away over towards the half forward flank, tried to kick it off the ground. Smith in control. Smith lost the run of it. It's come out to Cloak. Cloak made up his mind pretty quickly that time. Hand pass to Tony Free, who's in more trouble than the early settlers, but he managed to get a kick and spun away over towards the boundary line, and that was pretty good effort by Tony Free. Harding coming on the ground, replacing Vidovic, and the ball's out of bounds on the half forward line for St Kilda at the railway or scoreboard end. On the members' side, into play it comes. They're competitive. Knocked away by Turner into a cluster of players there. Turner went back after it. Couldn't get it. Still on that half forward line. Lambert coming through tigerishly, if you can use that expression. It's out to McAdam. McAdam bumped aside very quickly by Turner, but it came out to Newport, and a shot for goal is good. That was a goal with consummate ease by Newport, and they needed to steady a little bit, the Saints. The Saints are 6-3-39, but they still trail the Tigers 6-6-42.
Let's go to John Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 30 points, 6-5-41. Fitzroy 1-5-11.
Here's Ron Barassi, 3AW Football.
Classy play by Newport. One of the reasons they brought him across was for his on-ball abilities, which he's already showing today, but also his coolness. That was a very, very cool effort by Stephen.
Ball back in the centre. Umpire Grant Vernon put it down. Knocked out by Gale of Richmond. Over the top, Craven. A hand pass entered into the hands of Lees. Lees of Richmond, fresh air shot over the top of the ball. Pekin. Many players looking for possession. And umpire Trevor Garrett is going to bounce. That will be on the centre wing position, outer side of the MCG. Beautiful conditions in metropolitan Melbourne this afternoon. The ball sits in the air nicely, knocked out by Gale. Went down towards Morris of St Kilda, picked it up and hand passed it to Winmar. On the draw, left foot, here comes Stuart Lowe. He's out in front of Turner. Knocked away by Turner of Richmond into the arms of Lees. Couldn't get it going. Stacks on the mill. Ugly scene of play. And the umpire's going to bounce on left half forward as St Kilda go towards the main scoreboard end. The scoreboard showing the Saints trailing 39-42 on the Makita BBC scoreboard. Ball back into the play. Up goes the knock, and that was the big fellow there in Harding on the ground replacing Vidovic. Came down towards Lees. Lees a long ball to centre wing out of side. Going up high was Gale of Richmond. On the spill, no one there. Nace picks up the football, so does Waitman. But free kick to St Kilda, and it's going to be Devonport who takes the kick. No, he's going to give it across to Morris.
Morris on the centre wing position on the outer side of the ground. 10.5 minutes into the quarter. 3 points the difference favouring Richmond. And Morris boots it around that outer side, off the palms of a couple of players over there, down to the ground. Going to be picked up by Harvey. He thumps the hand pass out to Harding. Onto the right foot, that player towards the half-forward line. It spills. Chance for Cloak. Cloak had plenty of time, but he muffed the hand pass. It went over and Bauer made it good. Bauer gets it over towards Pickering. Pickering playing pretty well. Sees the ball drift over the line, out of bounds, to be thrown back into play at 11 minutes and 8 seconds into the quarter. 6-6 to 6-3. The Tigers leading on the Third Avenue Makita BBC scoreboard, and the boundary umpire about to flick it back into play. He does this in there, and knocking it away was Turner in opposition to Lowe, out towards Winmar, and the ball very close to the boundary line yet again. Winmar tried to keep it in, has kept it in as a matter of fact, shoveled it out in the direction of Craven, who kicked it off the ground. It's back upfield, bounced awkwardly there. A chance for Smith. Smith of Richmond hand passed out. Peakin had it for a moment. Lambert pounced on the ball, lost it. Peakin came back into play, hand passed into the pocket. A chance there for a goal to St Kilda from the boot of Lowe. I didn't think he had any chance at all. That's his second, remembering that he kicked the first goal from the forward pocket at the other end of the ground, and that takes the Saints to the lead with 7-3 to 6-6.
What agility for a huge man mountain there, Rombarassi.
Yes, and shows his improved confidence in his kicking, but a terrific effort by Peakin there to grab that ball, spin, turn off the ground just as the hordes were descending upon him, and the boot coming through to kick it off the ground, and the hand pass was fantastic.
Ball back in the centre. Knocked out by Gale of Richmond, went to Mitchell, dispossessed, went out to Naish. A high ball down towards Lambert. Lambert's there, knocked on beautifully by Hogg. Here comes Lambert, here comes Morris for Richmond, over the top. Newport will pick it up, and a worm burner goes spilling towards the boundary line, and over it goes. Let's go to Sam Newman at Cardinia Park.
Geelong by 9 points, 5-4-34. Essendon 3-7-25.
And a quick score from John Murphy.
Quarter time, 36-point lead to Brisbane, 7-5-47. Fitzroy 1-5-11.
Ball back into play. Harding might have got that one. We'll give it to him. Went across into the area of Rice. Rice has picked it up for St Kilda. Hand passes to Frawley. Frawley kicks a long ball. He'll be looking for Stuart Lowe. On his hammer. Turner Lowe, a one-handed mark. What a beauty. He's marked it on left half forward. He's going to drive the football. It's a long ball. Where's Lockett? He's there. Can't get it. Crumbs want it. Here comes Coughlin. Picks it up. Coughlin has kicked a goal for St Kilda. Oh, great scouting by Coughlin, and through it went for St Kilda's 8. St Kilda 8-3-51. Richmond 6-6-42. 13.5 minutes on the Makita BBC scoreboard on 3AW.
Well, I'm surprised to see young Coughlin down near the big fella Lockett, because they collided before, and it was definitely Coughlin's fault, and Lockett was even limping. How do you hurt a guy like that? And I thought that young Coughlin wouldn't be going to get anywhere near him for the rest of the game, but no, he was there with a snap.
Well, St Kilda have accelerated a little bit now, back in the centre of the ground. A chance for Harding. I don't think anybody going to decisive tap out there. Pickering and Winmar over there having a great duel. Winmar wins this one, spurts away up to the half-forward line, bouncing. Then he weaves away and kicks it long. Lockett's out of position. The kick wasn't designed for him, or may have been designed for him, but it was offline, and the Tigers are happy to push it through for a point. Lockett did his part all right, but Winmar's kick wasn't quite what it should have been, and that takes the score on to 8-4, 8-4-52 for St Kilda, and the Tigers remain on 6-6-42. Each team has had 12 scoring shots. The ball kicked back in a good one, in the back pocket on the member side of the ground. Bring it upfield, up towards Lees. Lees takes the mark, goes away, and drives it up towards the centre half forward spot. Not that far up, it didn't get that far. Reached centre wing, and Hogg took the mark in front of Frawley. Centre wing member side, up it goes, up towards the half forward line. Knocked down by Pickering, out to Lambert. A long hand pass, looking over there on the half forward line, but it's gone over the line out of bounds to be thrown in yet again. Half forward flag.
Let's go to Sam Newman at Cardinia Park.
Geelong just firing a goal there, 10 points ahead, 5-5-35 Essendon, 3-7-25.
On Richmond's half-forward line, member side, punt road end, back it comes, knocked away over there, out towards the boundary line yet again, a chance for Hogg. Hogg kept the ball in play, the hand pass went astray, went towards Devonport and Craven, they fossicked it out, and eventually Harding came around, a left foot kick upfield, and Lambert's he convinced the umpire it was a mark. I'm not sure whether it travelled the required distance, but however, he's got the mark, he's on the 50-metre line, on the member side of the ground, it's not a bad sort of a kick, in towards the full forward area, they rise there, and the mark was taken up there, practically unattended by Harding. Harding between the goalposts now, looking to go to the outer side of the ground. He does, and over there he goes. It gets it might have been Burke over there. No, it was Rice. Rice kicking up towards the centre weak position. Down on the ground it goes. A chance for the Tigers picking it up quickly. Ryan has it. Ryan going away, wanted a handball. Kicks it long, in towards the full forward spot. Tumbling down, the ball down free. Came out to Frawley. Frawley pumps a hand pass back upfield to Morris, and Morris coming away, bringing the ball around the member side of the ground, up towards the half-forward line. Burke pounces upon the ball, and they get away yet again with Devonport coming upfield, and they're loose now. Harvey's got it. A casual sort of a bounce on the member flank. Kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Not quite that distance. Over the pack it goes. Smith came in for Richmond, slid over the top of the ball, lost it, got rid of it like a hot cake. On the rebound, it's gone out to Coughlin, running in, kicks to Lockett, and that's Mandrake. And the rest of them couldn't stop that one. And Lockett's got a chance now. He's saying he's missed a couple of easy ones, and we consider them easy. This one's a little more difficult. He's back towards the 50-metre line on the member side of the ground, and the angle is about 65 degrees. 8-4 to 6-6 with St Kilda leading, and Lockett with 3 goals at the moment. A chance to make 4. Should have had 5 really, but however, all's well that ends well, and Lockett just... incoming to kick the goal now, and he's put on its way, and I'm not too sure. I don't like the look of that one either. 1 point only, so that's St Kilda 8-5, and 2 Tontonys off the mark at the moment. 8-5 to 6-6 on the 3W Makita BBC scoreboard.
Goodwin favours the outer half-back flank. He'll be looking for Brendan Bower. Can't take the mark. Close attention from McAdam, and the free kick is going to go against McAdam and go to Brendan Bower. That will be outside 50, right half-back flank with the Tigers needing a lift towards the punt road end. So he kicks the ball. It's a high one. Goes down towards Gale, pushing, shoving, and the umpire was right on the job, and Morris has got the free kick for St Kilda. That is the outer wing position, left attacking flank with the St Kilda side going to the main scoreboard end. A long 60-metre kick goes towards Stuart Lowe. Thumped away by Turner over the top of the ball, Lambert. And no decision, says the umpire. I'm going to throw this ball into the ground and let you have a go for it. It is on left half forward flank, 50-metre line. 17, nearly 18 minutes gone in the second turn. Up high was the big fellow in Turner. Scooped it out. He was looking further afield for Tony Free, who kicked it off the ground, went towards Winmar. A high ball in towards centre half forward flank. Stuart Lowe was up high and took a very, very good mark. So we have got Stuart Lowe goes in, kicks it long. Here comes Tony Lockett. And there goes Tony Lockett, and the ball disappears. Tony runs around, and a gigantic giraffe kick. But no, the umpire says you've got to go. I suspect he might have even missed that one too.
I think he did, Rex.
Yeah. So the umpire has done a favour by blowing time on. Although it was as high as the Carlton United Brewery's sign on the scoreboard, I reckon it might have went behind. So Tony Lockett has kicked 3. The football fair dinkum looks like an Easter egg in this man's hands, and he's going to line it up from point-blank range, although on a 45-degree angle at the main scoreboard end. Kicking into the face of this northerly here this afternoon. Skips in, and it's a goal. 4 to Tony Lockett. He's back on target. St Kilda a 9-5-59. Richmond 6-6-42. 3W Makita BBC scoreboard. Here's Ron Barassi.
Well, he's in sensational form, although his kicking's been off a little today, but he's an exciting player to watch. Let's hope he can do this in about 10 days' time when we go to the cross to Western Australia to play the Pseudo Eagles.
You're worried already, Ron?
Not worried, just looking forward to it. Anticipation.
20 minutes into the quarter, the umpire about to bounce the ball. St Kilda have got away a little bit. They're 9-5 to 6-6 on the 3W Makita BBC scoreboard, and the umpire bounces the ball in the middle of the ground. Coming in is Gale, and Gale won it decisively. Got it down, a chance there for Ryan, but Ryan overran the ball. It allowed Morris to come in and boot it. That was Grant to boot it upfield, up towards the half-forward line. Richmond a little bit flustered at the moment now, kicking off the ground, getting the ball up towards the half-forward line for St Kilda. It came out in the direction of Peake, and McAdams there too. Nobody able to control it until Free picked it up. But the umpire's held play up, and he's taking getting the ball back to it's on half-forward line. Looks like it may be a free kick to St Kilda, Ron.
Yes, throwing the ball. The hand pass was too quick hands, Bill.
Just what I say, Ron. You can pick the difference between a throw and a punch, can't you?
The
You've done it.
certainly did.
Well played, Ron. Merit certificate for you. And if McAdams not getting it, it's going to go to Peake. Standing on the 50-metre line, about to kick towards the railway or scoreboard end. The score is 9-5 to 6-6. And despite the buffeting, Peake has now regained his poise. And coming off the 50-metre line, about to kick it towards goal, puts it on its way, and it is a goal. So St Kilda drawing away a little bit. That takes their score on the 10-5-65. Richmond is 6-6-42. 3W Makita BBC scoreboard.
Sam Newman at Cardinia Park.
Geelong by 10 points. They're 5-6-36. Essendon 3-8-26.
Johnny Murphy.
Brisbane by 36 points, 7-5-47. Fitzroy 1-5-11.
Graham Bond on 3AW.
Well, this quarter, Gale's got on top in the ruck, but the St Kilda small players are taking it away in Craven and Harvey.
21 minutes into the second term, a high ball. That is a high ball, knocked out by Harding through the arms of Free. Went down to Bauer. Bauer, a short kick, punched away by Free. Went into the arms of Newport. He was besieged. It came out to Lambert, who fell over. Stacks on the mill, and the umpire will come in and bounce. So St Kilda starting to get away. Lockett has booted 4 for St Kilda, and young Scott has booted 3 for Richmond. Ball into the turf. There it goes. 7 metres in the air. Knocked out by Harding. Looking for Harvey. Found that player. Harding knocked it on further afield. Looking for Newport. Hand pass to Morris. Went straight through his hands. Here comes Lambert down. Diving on the ball. And maybe no attempt to get rid of the ball there by Morris. What did you think, Ron?
Well, I thought he was already sitting on the ground when the ball came to him. I don't think he dived on it at that precise moment.
Umpire Garrett's got the ball. Sails into the breeze. Knocked out beautifully by Harding. Here comes McAdam. Picks it up on the draw. Transfers play to Harvey. Right half forward. Stewart low. Bang off his chest. Went to Waitman. In turn, hand passed over the top to Naish. Naish of Richmond. A long ball looking further afield. For who? He couldn't find him, but it came out further afield. Here they go through Powell. Powell on the left boot. Here comes the big fellow in Scott. Couldn't get it down. Nace overrunning the ball. The hand pass from Ryan went to Lambert. Lambert went around over the top of the ball, and Waitman has got the free kick. So Waitman, the flea, has got the free kick at centre half forward at the punt road end. 22 and a half minutes in this second term. Here comes the lead from Hogg. Meantime, the flea has got the football. And the little captain from Richmond is a long, long way out at the punt road end and sends the ball on its way. This has gone a long way. This is a magnificent kick, and it has been forced through behind, touched by Grant. Richmond 6 goals, 6-42, 6-7-43. Thank you. St Kilda 10-5-65. Makita BBC scoreboard.
22 points the difference as Grant kicks it back into play across to the outer side of the ground. It's taken under control very quickly to get it to Winmar. Winmar further afield, and they go upfield with a good kick over there by Rice up towards the half-forward line. Out there several players. McAdam in the front berth. Shoveled it back, looked like a throw. Quick hands up towards the centre wing position. Down towards Burke, knocking it away. St Kilda doing it well. A hand pass will find going upfield is Devonport. Now he kicks it long in towards the centre half forward spot. Cloak fell on them, and this is going to be a free kick to the Richmond player in Turner, and Cloak actually fell into that pack. Turner now looking for an option one way or the other, and he's going to bring it over to the members' side of the ground. No, he's not. He's going straight up the middle to find Nash, short of the centre of the ground. Nash, left foot kick across field over to Smith running. Smith takes the mark on centre wing, has a bounce. He's backed himself. He's looking for calling for the lead, and eventually Ryan led up, and Ryan took the mark on the half forward flank on the members' side. Coming in to take his kick now, and he's booted it long up towards the full forward spot. Will land in the goal square. High they were, knocked to the ground. It's still in play in the forward pocket. Waitman is there, but there's a free kick. There's a free kick of some description, and the umpire is coming across, and the free kick will be paid to Richmond. It'll go to Pickering in the forward pocket. on the member's side of the ground. What was the infringement, Ron?
It was for holding the man, and it was definitely a correct free kick.
Good. That's what I thought. Pickering now on the boundary line to kick the ball up to the punt road end. He's got to be good to kick this one. Now he's coming around to take the kick. Puts it on its way. Not very good. Might have been out of bounds. 1 point only. And it sees the Tigers go on to 6-8-44, 6-7-43, and St Kilda on 10-5-65. Just a tiff, a sniff or whatever off the time on period. The ball coming back into play now. Booted across to the member's side of the ground. There's one of these infrequent decisions. The player has kicked over the line, so the ball must be taken back there and bounced. I often wonder how they pick it half the time.
Well, he was in a perfect position along the line. He didn't kick it on the corner of the square, but it was along the line, and the umpire was right on that line.
Well done. Ball about to be bounced in front of the goal. Richmond's goal down there at the punt road end. They jostle for position into a pack of players it goes. If they don't get out of there must be another bounce. But he found a free kick, and the free kick will be taken by Craven up there, for St Kilda, backing back into the square.
So Craven's got the free kick at the punt road full back end. He's got a lead from Nathan Burke. Burke says, kick it long to me because no one's there, but here comes Mitchell. Couldn't take the mark for Richmond. Mitchell on hands and knees, picked up by Ralph Smith across to Nathan Burke. Back towards Harvey, tapped it back to Burke. Over the top, a high ball, hand pass Job. Went towards Lambert. Here comes Winmar. He's held. Weaves his way through with his magic. Hand passes to Newport. Newport should hand pass to Burke and does. Burke runs away right half forward. Here comes Lowe. And Lowe spills into the mark for St Kilda. So Stuart Lowe is 55 metres out from goal. On a 45-degree angle in front of the smokers stand. Puts the ball on its way. It's gone a long way. Lockett from behind. Thump through. Shepherding to Lockett. This surely must be his 5th goal. Shepherding Ronnie Boy.
Shepherding Rexy Boy, it was certainly so, because the umpire was at the side-on view for about 20 metres at the perfect situation. The perfect spot to pick a misdemeanor like that. Very costly too.
So Lockett from point blank range will kick his 5th. The umpire says, thank you very much. Good night. That is all, and that is 5. How do you stop this man? I think a sledgehammer would be fair, Ron, at this stage.
Well, I'll tell you something. I don't think the cloak thing is having any effect, or hardly any effect. Certainly not enough to take a man out of the play, which weakens you all over the rest of the field.
St Kilda 11-5-71, Richmond 6-8-44, 3RW Makita BBC scoreboard, 27 in.
The main area of concern, Ron, is upfield, isn't it?
Yep.
Getting the ball down to him. That's the point at the moment. The ball was knocked away by Harding. I think got the better of that one. Kicked off the ground by Smith coming upfield. Out it goes to Devonport. Devonport has had a few kicks. Kicks it up towards the centre half forward spot. It's knocked back to the centre of the ground. Bounced over the head of Craven, which meant it wasn't very high. Out to Harvey. Harvey starting to get into the act a fair bit. Knocked away by Burke. Burke on his man there in Lambert. Down to the ground. Craven again. A hand pass out. It was wild. See whether that was effective or not. Knocked away over towards the boundary line. A chance for Antrobus. Antrobus now knocked aside by Nace as he kicked the ball up towards the half forward line. It's out to Craven, roving superbly there. Knocked away, kicked away out towards Rice. Rice lost the run of it. Free comes in, got a bit of a nudge. Playing us a call at centre half forward. He got the nudge all right, and the free kick for pushing the back is there. Tony Free at centre half back for Richmond. 28 minutes into the quarter, boots it upfield, up towards centre wing, and Lambert went in and took a good mark there. There's other factors apart from just mark. It went to Waitman. The flea had to sluggle it down, and there's going to be a free kick, and it's going to go against Waitman to be paid to Ralph Smith. Ralph Smith at centre half back kicks the ball wide over to the outer side of the ground. There's anybody over there except Harding. He's on his own. Puts the ball on the ground once, goes around a possible tackle, then kicks it up towards centre half forward beyond that area. Where's Lowe? He's in the middle, had it for a moment, went to Mitchell. Mitchell hand passed out to Free. Couldn't evade the tackle. Got the hand pass. It wasn't effective, but Mitchell made it that way. Mitchell effect a good hand pass to Cloak to Free. It's good handball over towards centre wing position. A chance here for Richmond through Nace. He dobs it up towards the half forward line on the member's side. Knocked to the ground. Knocked away by Morris. In turn by Ralph Smith. Up to Devonport. Picking it up. Kicks it back to centre wing to Harvey. Harvey marks. Pumps the hand pass across to Burke. Burke going around the member's side of the ground. Wobbles and wobbles away. Kicks up towards the full forward spot. Look out, here they come. The Hordes knocked to the ground. A chance for McAdam. McAdam leading Powell in the race for the ball. But it's down to ground and picked up by Free. And away he goes going around that outer side. Couple of bounces to boot it up towards the centre wing position. What's he got over there? Pickering pumps the hand pass further afield. And away they go with Powell kicking up towards Hogg, leading out wide, but it's gone over the line out of bounds to be thrown in. 29 minutes and 20 seconds in. It's 11-5 to 6-8. St Kilda leading on the 3AW Makita BBC scoreboard.
Sam Newman a score at Cardinia Park, Geelong.
It's half-time and Geelong lead by 11 points. They're 6-8-44. Essendon a 4-9-33.
Throw in, knocked out by Gale of Richmond. Spills towards the 50-metre line. Here comes Craven of St Kilda. Left half back for the Saints. Overrunning the ball, plenty of players. It went very close, but there's a free kick, and it's going to go to Hogg of Richmond. John Murphy a score at the Gabba. We'll go to John very shortly. You're listening to 3RW Football as Hogg, playing his 100th game, is on the right half forward flank at the punt road end. Outside 50 will centre this football. It comes into the main scoring zone. Up high was Gale, punched away by Morris. On the draw, Mitchell. He lines up the footy behind. So, on the 3RW Makita BBC scoreboard, Richmond are 6 goals, 9.45. St Kilda 11-5-71. David Grant has the ball at full back for St Kilda. Chips it to Robert Harvey. Marks hand passes to Nathan Burke. Over the top. No, he won't go, but he'll go across towards Rice. Rice on centre wing has taken the mark. He's had a bounce and have another one. The Seagulls fly away, and there goes the footy towards Stuart Lowe. One touch, can't take it. Oh, Barry Young couldn't get the football onto his hand, and the ball spilled over the boundary line and out of bounds.
He was a bit unlucky there, I thought. It's out of bounds anyhow on the half-forward line for the Saints, and that's half-time. 30 minutes and 51 seconds football in that quarter, and the Saints deserving their lead. They are 11-5-71 to lead the Tigers 6-9-45. 3RW Makita BBC scoreboard.
So Richmond kicking 2 goals for in that particular quarter, and St Kilda booting 8 straight goals. So marvellous effort by St Kilda to kick 8 big ones to the main scoreboard end. How many, Bondi? 6-3. Well, I can't count. 6 goals, 3. Well, that'll do. 8 straight goals. Where did I get 3 goals, 5? I might have got it mixed up. It was 2 goals, 5. Back to school, Huddy. That's why Sam graduated with plenty of honours, and I failed plasticine in form 2. At half-time, St Kilda are 11 goals, 5-71. Richmond is 6-9-45. Let's get half-time scores at Cardinia Park.
Geelong lead by 11 points at half-time, 6-8-44. And Essendon a 4-9-33. And it is little wonder that the bottom sides can't compete with 2 sides playing football like this.
Yes, back to you shortly. Let's go Brisbane and Fitzroy. John Murphy.
14-minute mark. Brisbane lead 10-6-66 to Fitzroy 2-5-17.
Oh, goodness me. Okay, back shortly at half-time in our match of the day. St Kilda 11-5-71. Lead Richmond 6-9-45. That's on the Makita BBC scoreboard. 3AW Sunday Football.
Had the job of looking after Lambert, and I think each of them have played fairly constructively. For that reason, Lambert's in the Richmond better players. Gale, Pickering, Waitman, Free, Turner, Smith and Bauer.
Here's Graham Bond.
Well, in the second quarter, the Saints had 84 possessions, the Tigers 68. In the first half, the free kicks have gone 13 to St Kilda and 12 to Richmond. For St Kilda, Burke's had 14 possessions in the first half, Harvey's had 12, Morris has had 12 and Devonport 13. Lockett's had 7 marks, 8 kicks and kicked 5 goals, 3. For Richmond, Free's had 11 possessions, Lambert's had 10, Mitchell's had 10, Naish has had 14 and Dale Waitman's had 13. Up front, Scott kicked 3 goals in the first quarter. From his 4 kicks, failed to register a major in the second quarter.
Okay, thank you very much to Graham Bond. Here's Ron Barassi.
Yes, a very good game of football here at the MCG with St Kilda shaking, well, in the latter half of that quarter, shaking the opposition Richmond side off to a degree and establishing a 23-point lead during that quarter, giving them a total lead now of 26 points and thoroughly deserved. I just question a little bit the tactics of playing Cloak as an extra man down the fence in front of Lockett. Not that the theory's totally without some merit, but I don't think Cloak is the man in that. How can I express this? It's a bit hard to explain, I guess. Quickly, but I'll try. It's all right having a man in front of the famous full forward or an in-form full forward like Lockett, but he should be a man who can also move upfield with a bit of speed to take advantage of the fact that he's just by himself and hasn't got an opponent. He's a loose man. He should be able to move around, whereas Clokey well, at his age and his build, he hasn't got that mobility, and he really therefore has to anchor himself only 15 or so metres in front of Tony. And if the ball comes to him, well, that's fine, he can compete, but a more agile, quicker person could be moving up to the half-back line to help out there, and even forward, further forward to when the ball is down on the Richmond full forward line, to act as a kick behind the play, more of a kick behind the play man, whereas the way he's playing, well, I don't think it's working out, and the disadvantage, of course, is more emphasised. When the ball's upfield, it means that St Kilda has an extra man around the ball if they're using their brains correctly. But some fine football being played by St Kilda. Newport doing well. All the on-ball players are doing very, very well for St Kilda. It's Newport, that's Craven, Coghlan also, Pekin, a little bit quieter than his recent form of this year. Grant and Rice are doing well, and the two Aboriginal boys are terrific. Gee, I love watching that McAdam. I reckon if he's not the recruit of the year, well, I'll eat my hat. It may not be fair to have a guy from another major competition like the SAFL called a recruit, I guess, but he's only a one-year player, or at the most a two-year player there. He's an exciting addition to the AFL, and St Kilda can thank their lucky stars or their clever recruiting in identifying him and picking him up. But Richmond, I haven't mentioned them much, but they are doing quite a good job there. Some of their players are playing very, very well, but they're just being outgunned in that last 20 minutes or so of that quarter, and but they are making it a very, very attractive game of football to watch.
Thank you very much to Ron Barassi. At half-time, Richmond 11-5, 71. St Kilda 6-9, 45. Saints lead by 26 points. For St Kilda, Lockett has booted 5. Low 2, 1 each, Rice, Newport, Coghlan and Pekin. For Richmond, Scott booted 3 all in the first quarter. And 1 each, Nash, Gale and Waitman. Half-time, Geelong lead Essendon by 11 points. Let's get a quick update score from John Murphy covering the game in Brisbane.
Brisbane lead by 61 points at nearly half-time. Brisbane 12-6, 78 to Fitzroy 2-5, 17 in a debacle.
After news headlines with Glenn Madison on 3AW. We'll check with Sam Newman at Cardinia Park, where Geelong lead Essendon by 11 points.
All that difficult were they? So he really could have got a little bit more. But I think that St Kilda are now winning the ball out of the centre. Gale was doing the ruck work and doing quite okay, but I'd say now that he's actually getting beaten badly there, and probably about the last 6 times the centre bounce clearances went towards St Kilda.
Well, it was interesting that St Kilda started with Coghlan on the bench, because when Coghlan came on, he seemed to give St Kilda a bit more drive around the packs, and he and Craven, particularly in that second term, really got the ball moving for St Kilda around the packs.
I don't think Frankie Coghlan likes sitting on the bench too, because I think he flew into 3 different players, which is not his normal nature. I know he goes hard at the ball, but he finished up having bits of scuffles. I think he probably felt, well, not much good sitting on the bench, being a nice person. I better do something about it. So, but he's a good little player. We've seen him play many good games. But St Kilda just took right over, and I was very disappointed with the pressure that Richmond placed on them. I thought their tackling was pathetic, and I also thought a lot of the players didn't chase as though they really wanted to bring players down. They made a token effort, and they didn't run straight at the player. They were running beside them, maybe, say, 8-10 metres away, without trying to bring them down. And I think this was one of the reasons why the boy with the ball was able to steady and pass so well to Lockett all low.
Well, courageous effort by Andy Goodwin. Early in the second term, he seemed to get a fairly nasty kick to the face. I think it was certainly an accidental one. The doctor wanted to take him off, but he wanted to stay on and try and match it with Lockett. A very courageous effort, and no doubt it'll be used by Kevin Barth at the fiery side up to the third period.
Yes, true. Well, that boy just wouldn't know fear. And I think that he probably felt, well, blood's blood, and it's not going to hurt to any great extent. And it was amazing that the doctor was trying to drag him off, and it certainly appeared that Andrew said that I'm staying on doing the job. I don't know if anybody else could do a better job than what he's actually doing at this particular stage, because St Kilda are just dominating the game. Halfway through that second quarter, they took charge, and the Tigers are just looking a little bit on the small and the tired side.
Well, St Kilda doing very well in the midfield with Burke, Harvey and Winmar playing very well, and Newport really tagging Lambert right out of the game. That's giving them the edge across the centre line and around the packs.
Yes, that's true, and I guess that's one of the areas where the Tigers thought they would have some advantage with the quickness of their running players and the small players. It hasn't been proven that. We mentioned before the game started that Danny Craven has been in good form. I like him because he certainly puts his head down and has a real red-hot go. But they've got a lot of other good little players. I think Nathan Burke's come on, and I think also Dean Rice is another player who's in good form. But they've just got a lot of good players at this stage.
Well, Tigers 26 points down at half-time. Do you think they're a chance of getting back into the game?
They'd have to have a complete turnaround from what we saw in the second half of that particular quarter. They did have chances in the first quarter, and I was very disappointed with some of the sloppy kicking by some of the forwards because they'd scored 5 points before they scored a goal. And now, like, they're trailing by what they could have been right up in front or right up with them if they had a kick straight.
So it's half-time here, a 26-point lead to St Kilda, with Lockett kicking 5 goals to half-time. St Kilda 11-5-71, leading Richmond 6-9-45.
David Mackay and Tom Hafey at the MCG. The Saints by 26 points here at Geelong. The home team by 11 at half-time. 6-8-44 to Essendon, 4-9-33. Let's go up to the Gabba and Hugh Mitchell.
For the Tigers, their captain Dale Wapeman, 7 kicks, 6 hand passes and 2 marks. Michael Pickering, 8 kicks and 4 marks. 4 marks also to Brian Lees with 5 kicks, and Tony Free has had 8 kicks and 3 hand passes. And the experiment of leaving David Cloke back there in defence. Clokey's only taken 1 mark, 5 hand passes, and he picked up 2 kicks. Nicky Winmar's had a great battle on the wing. He's had, with Pickering, he's taken 1 mark, 7 kicks and 3 hand passes, and Michael Pickering 8 kicks, 4 marks and 1 hand pass, but Pickers also has kicked 3 behinds.
I got Burke's figures. He has been with Lambert all day. Lambert?
Burke's had 7 and 7. Lambert, 2 kicks and 8 hand passes. He picked up 6 of those hand passes in that second quarter.
Let's get a half-time score from John Murphy. Thank you.
Half-time and Brisbane lead by 44 points, 12-8-80 to Fitzroy 5-6-36.
So Brisbane kicking 4-3 in that term. Fitzroy getting a little bit of their act together, kicking 4 goals, 1. So Brisbane 12-8-80, Fitzroy 5-6-36. Geelong lead Essendon by 11 points. And the umpire, Trevor Garrett, has got this football and will start it. Bang, into the turf it goes. And it's knocked out by the big fellow in Harding. Went towards Craven, but it went down towards Ralph Smith. Kicked the brand new footy towards centre half forward. Through the arms of Stuart Lowe. Here comes Smith for Richmond. Transfers play across the other side. Barry Young kicks it out towards Mitchell. And Mitchell is marked on left half forward towards the main scoreboard end. Low trajectory kick is long. It is not accurate. Mark was dropped by Morris over the top of the ball. Frawley scooped it out. Picking it up over there for Richmond, and going forward was the boy in Free, but it went over the boundary line and out of bounds when Scott Ham passed it, and it was taken over by St Kilda's player in Nathan Burke. So the ball back into the arena, per medium of the boundary umpire, 30 metres out from goal, knocked out, down to the floor. Craven, hand passes to Rice. Rice is under trouble. Here comes Lambert for Richmond. Hand passed it to Mitchell, but Nathan Burke took it and hand passed it to Ralph Smith. Ralph Smith now kicks it long and hard down to McAdam. McAdam versus Bauer. McAdam runs straight into trouble. That was Young. Went out towards Bauer again. Hand passes back towards Young. Barry Young goes, but the football doesn't. And it goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. That is 60 metres out from the St Kilda goal as the Satyrs go down towards the punt road end. It is on the outer side of the ground. Back into the arena comes the football. Knocked out by who? The big fellow will give it to in Young, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. In fact, I think Underwood might have knocked that out, and he did. So it's out of play, 65 metres around from the St Kilda goal. A minute 40 in. Up goes the big fellow again, Turner, but it went down to Antrovis. A high ball inside 50. Coghlan went up, couldn't take the mark. Ran straight into Waitman. Here come the Tigers. Hand pass came out from Underwood. Went out towards Smith. Smith of Richmond kicks it out, and Pickering marks on centre wing in front of Winmar.
On the member side of the ground, he tricked there. Play on was the call. He hand passed very quickly to Free. Free kicks to the lead of Jones coming upfield, and that young man was marked in the forward pocket on the member side of the ground. The Scott, I should say. Jones, I don't know where I got Jones from. Scott, 43, and he's taken the mark on the member side of the ground in the forward pocket area, back over the 50-metre line, so you can hardly call it forward pocket now. That's from there he will commence his run in to kick to the railway scoreboard end. He's kicked 3 and a chance now to come in and kick another one, crossing the line and going in to kick towards the scoreboard end. He hooked that one badly, went across his body, across the face of goal, and it's pumped through for one behind. 1 point to Richmond on the 3AW scoreboard, takes them on to 6-10 to 11-5. 3AW CIG Gas and Gear scoreboard. The ball back with David Grant. He kicks it over to Morris, and Morris marks in the back pocket on the outer side at the scoreboard end. 11-5 to 6-10 as he hesitates about doing something with the ball. Got an indication from Harvey, but he ignored that. Kicked it wide over towards the outer side of the ground, and over there taking a pretty good mark was Burke, taking the mark on the half-back flank on the outer side of the ground. Driving it further afield, up towards centre wing position. They're jostling there, knocked over in the direction of McAdam, but it's gone over the line once again and will be thrown back into play at 3.5 minutes into the third quarter here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. 11-5 to 6-10. Boundary umpire getting it back into play. In there doing the ruck work was Gale and Harding. It looked a little difficult. I thought it may have been Gale from behind who pumped it away, but it's gone over the line yet again. So once again we'll see the ball thrown back into play, creeping up to 3 3/4 minutes into the third quarter in this clash between St Kilda and Richmond. Back into play it comes. Harding definitely that time from the back, knocked it over towards the boundary line, still out of play again, and so the umpire's got to do it all over again. That's 3 times in about 35 seconds. 11-5 to 6-10 with the Saints leading. 3AW scoreboard. Back into play it comes yet again. Harding in the front berth this time. Two-handed it down. It went over to Harvey. Harvey bouncing his way around the outer side. Pumps the hand pass across to McAdam, who was grabbed immediately. Play on was the call. Thought the umpire was going to play a free kick there, and it came out to Rice, but eventually the free kick will go to McAdam, and he takes it on the half-forward flank on the outer side. Kicking up to the punt road end. Standing the mark over there. There's nobody standing the mark. Turner watched for a minute, but now it's stood, and it's Pickering on the mark. McAdam just chips it short to Harvey, and Harvey came out, led out, and he's taken the mark, still in the forward pocket. Harvey, elusive, will-o'-the-wisp type of footballer, has a chance. He's got to kick well. He's got to kick from 45 metres out, and the angle is acute. He's only about 3 or 4 metres in from the boundary line over there on that outer side. Comes in now, trots in, puts it on its way. It looks fairly inaccurate to me. It's 1 point only. 1 point on the 3AW CIG Gas and Gear scoreboard sees the Saints on to 11-6-72. Richmond remain on 6-10-46.
Goodwin is off the ground, being replaced at full back by Hogg. Kicks it out to Tony Free, and Free marks on right half back for Richmond on the members' side. They're going towards the main scoreboard in Richmond. Tony Free kicks a 35-metre kick, and up will go Rice, and Rice marks in front of Ryan. So Rice of St Kilda has got it. He's got a lead from Harvey. Harvey's now still on his own. Coming in there, Gale, but he kicks it long and hard. Up high was Stuart Lowe. Punched away from that player. Overrunning the ball, Pekin. Kicked off the ground by Cloak. It's gone over the boundary line and out of bounds, and the possession will go to Nicky Winmar. So Nicky Winmar, more wing on the left attacking flank than half forward. He's kicked it down to Stuart Lowe. Bang! Easy as that. Turner wasn't in the contest. Stuart Lowe comes back, rams a 50-metre kick, sits nicely. Where's Lockett? He's from behind. He has a go. Cloak claims the mark. Hand passes over the top to Brendan Bauer. He overruns the ball. Kicked on beautifully by McAdam. Magnificent play. Hit the post. Pardon me. Probably deserved better 6 minutes in. McAdam a poster. St Kilda 11-7-73. Richmond 6-10-46. 3AW CIG Gas and Gear scoreboard.
Ball about to be kicked back into play at 6.5 minutes into the third term, and back it comes from the boot of Hogg up towards the centre of the ground. It's a lovely kick about 60 metres upfield. Players flying from everywhere, and the free kick is going to go to Pickering for a push in the back on the umpire's indication. Pickering immediately sees Free roaming free over there on that outer flank. Now it's Young on the centre wing position, going on with the ball now and kicking it up towards the half forward line. At the back was Gale. Gale had a fair purchase on that one, and he's taken the mark. On the half, the umpire is indicating that there was an infringement, and the free kick is going to go to Grant of St Kilda. Grant plays on quickly, gets it up to Harding. Harding marks centre wing. He's called on by Morris, so he has a bounce. He'll have another bounce, and Morris still urges him on. He'll have a third bounce, and he's up there the 50-metre mark. Now's the time to kick it, and he does. Centres it a little bit too far, I think. No, he found Ralph, but I'll bet you pounds to peanuts he wasn't looking for him, but he put it in the correct position or thereabouts, Ron.
Oh, perfect. In fact, there were 3 St Kilda players there. They could have rattled that one.
Yeah, well, Ralph Smith was the one that had the winning ticket, and it's 11-7 to 6-10 at the moment on the 3AW CIG gas and gear scoreboard. And Ralph Smith now lining them up from a position about 45 metres out, directly in front of goal at the punt road end at 7.5 minutes into the quarter. And here comes Ralph Smith trotting in, not as slowly as Lockett. And he didn't kick it as well as Lockett either. He kicked the point, and that's what it looked like being right from the word go. So that takes the Saints on to 11-8 to 6-10. 7.5 minutes into the quarter, and Hogg back in full-back duties again, as he often has to do. Kicking the ball back into play, over to the members' side of the ground. They've got who? Pickering, Winmar. Whoa! Winmar high as a kite, went to Harding on the rebound. It's out to Lees. Lees' hand pass attempted is smothered. Harding comes in again. Half-forward flank members' side. Lees got it out at the Underwood. Underwood in trouble, lost the run of the ball. Very quick hand pass there from Newport, went out, eventually finished with Pekin on the 50-metre line, and a good bump there by Waitman, but Pekin's kick stayed in play, and Cloak took a mark. Cloak now in the back pocket on the members' side, defending at the punt road end, 11-8 to 6-10. That's the short one, and founds Lambert. Lambert unguarded at the moment has taken the mark, but he's only about 4 metres up from where Cloak kicked the ball. So he chips it across over there to Turner. Turner marking has a bounce as he goes through the centre-half back position. Got a bit of pace, got away there from low, kicks it upfield, but hunching it to the mark is Burke, Nathan Burke on the outer side of the ground. And the 50-metre penalty's been given away by the Tigers. So that'll bring, that was against Ryan, and Ryan's conceded the 50 metres, and the 50-metre spot is being marked about 48 metres out from goal. The Burke has kicked across to Harding, and that was the Tigers lapsed in concentration there for sure, and Harding was left unguarded, and Burke saw it and he kicked to him, and Harding now will kick from directly in front of goal, see if he can do any better than the previous player. It's 11-8 to 6-10. Richmond trailing on the 3AW CIG gas and gear scoreboard. 9 minutes and 3 seconds have been played in the third quarter, and it has much hype in it this quarter, up to this stage of the journey anyhow. And here's Harding crossing the 50-metre line, looking up to the new stand. He's not looking there, but that's the direction in which he's kicking it, and he's put it through for a goal. That's a nice goal. St Kilda seeming to get the grip on the game. It's 12-8 to 6-10, 9.5 minutes in.
Sam Newman at Cardinia Park.
Well, the scores are level. Both Geelong and Essendon are 7 goals, 11-53.
Time.
Quarter of an hour into the third quarter.
John Murphy.
Still half-time where Brisbane lead by 44 points.
Thank you for that. Ball back in the centre. Umpire Grant Vernon has got it. That's Trevor Garrett, the shorter of the two. Bang into the turf it goes. 10 metres it rises in the air. Knocked out by Gale of Richmond. Knocked on by Lambert. Crunch it came. A giant kick. Went into the air by Morrison. McAdam is marked in front of Bauer. So McAdam on the right half-forward flank at the punt road end has got the football in his hands. Takes 2 steps. Puts it out in front of Lockett. Lockett. Hogg in his 100th game. What a nightmare to pick up this man. And he just did it so easily, or it appeared that way from the comfort of the heated press box, or this air-conditioned press box. So here is Lockett. So Lockett's got it. And he is... Bill loves the fresh air, ladies and gentlemen, and I concur. It's just lovely, like Tommy Hafey and Graham Bond. So meanwhile, back to Lockett. He's got 5 and lines it up and puts the ball on its way behind. Gee, what's wrong with him today? That should have been 9. How many, Graham Bond?
5 goals and 4 behinds.
St Kilda 12-9-81. Richmond 6-10-46. CIG gas and gear scoreboard. Hogg boots it out. He'll be looking there for Pickering. Knocked away. Went to Winmar. Over the top. A clever kick looking for Harding. Harding will go up and mark in front of Naish. Very, very good kick by Winmar. Hospital job in many aspects, but Harding has taken the mark inside 50. He'll now stand outside the boundary line and outside 50. Kicked the goal before, so why doesn't he have a ping? And he takes the crowd's advice. Harding hunches over the ball, moves in deliberately, puts it on its way now, and it sails long and long. It won't reach the distance, and it is rushed through behind. St Kilda 12-10-82, Richmond 6-10-46, 11.5 minutes, CIG gas and gear scoreboard, 3AW footy.
Hogg to kick the ball back into play. The reason I love the fresh air is I can sniff it. When I stop doing that, I'm RS. Hogg has kicked the ball out wide, out to the outer flank. Over there will be Pickering. Pickering's knocked the ball to the ground. McAdam overran it. Kicked off the ground by Pickering, coming up the second time. Over to Powell. Powell a hand pass back to Pickering. Pickering gets it further field to Bauer. Bauer running up towards the centre half forward spot. Kicks it beyond that area and dropping back to take. Knights completely misread that because Devonport just dropped in for a nice comfortable mark. Knights was running the other way. The ball kicked wide over to Harvey on the outer flank, and Harvey's mark was away too, but he'll take his kick with a man standing the mark. He's pumped the hand pass across to Craven. Went about 15 or 18 metres. Craven now kicks the ball in towards centre half forward. Cloak in the front berth. Had it, lost it, down to ground it goes. There we find Coghlan onto the left foot, kicking it towards the forward line. Out to Lowe, and Lowe's put it through for a goal. Well, that's his third goal. I have the uneasy feeling that St Kilda may be going to bolt away with this because they've opened up a lead of 7 goals, and that's bolting. But 12 and a half minutes into the quarter, it looks ominous.
Let's go to John Newman.
Essendon are 2 points ahead there, 7-13-55. Geelong is 7-11-53.
Here's Ron Barassi.
Yeah, very good effort by young Coghlan. Then he went for the mark, realised he was well behind in the pack that he faced or was part of, knocked it down to the ground himself and battled on to eventually win the crumb and scruff it forward, and just by luck went to Lowy.
13 minutes into the quarter, Cloak in the ruck there, but he was beaten by Harding, went down the ground, going to be taken away very quickly by Nash onto the left foot, up towards the centre half forward spot, and they sit back there, and Grant takes the mark, tumbling backwards. I think there's one of the fizz and pizzazz has gone out of the Tigers. Grant's kicked it over the outer side of the ground. Marking over there will be Ralph Smith, kicking it long in towards the centre half forward spot. Low in front of his opponent. Turner has taken the mark. He had no hope. Turner low, kicking now, high. It's 2 out. Lockett and Hogg. Somebody chopping across with Pickering chopping across there. The ball is on the ground, and the umpire will be forced to bounce. He'll bounce the ball between centre half forward and full forward at the punt road end. 14 minutes into the quarter, and the lead is precisely 7 goals in favour of St Kilda. At the bounce, they gather around there. In there doing the ruck work was Low, but Cloak won that one up towards his team's half back spot. Down to the ground it went again, knocked away very quickly by Underwood. Underwood across to Bauer, who back scuttled and went every other way in which he intended. Now he's back in business. Hand passes to Mitchell, centre wing out the side of the ground. Mitchell beat the tackle, rushed it away and kicks from the centre of the ground up towards the half forward line. Gale up there. Oh, at the back, that's a decent sort of a grab over there by Ralph Smith, kicking it wide over to the outer side of the ground, looking for his player over there on the half forward flank, and that was Devonport, and the ball was swept away up towards centre wing position. Now St Kilda have got it on the boil now with Burke kicking it over towards centre half forward. In there was Lowe. He got a bit of a nudge, and the umpire thought so too. Played the advantage rules, picked up by Antrobus, and he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. So the free kick will go to Hogg. The score 15 minutes in, 13-10 to 6-10, favouring St Kilda.
Hogg's got Cloak, finds the big fellow. Cloak runs to 50, kicks it long. Here comes Harding. Harding goes up, can't take the mark. Went to Pekin. Pekin hand passes to Rice. Rice a long ball. Cloak will go in and mark, and should, as over the top comes Lockett. It was too late. Cloak had it for sure, then Tony punched it away. He had control of the football. Over the top, a short one to Nash. Nash marks at centre half back for Richmond at the punt road end. Standing the mark, Stuart Lowe. Nash runs around, he kicks it long. Smith versus Pekin. Smith from behind, can't take it. Here comes Gale to lend support with a Shepherd, but he's kicked it into the feet of Morris, and Morris sees the ball go over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full, and Smith of Richmond has got it on the right centre wing, with the Tigers going to the main scoreboard in 15 and a half minutes, third term. A long ball to 50 metres. Gale versus Harding versus from behind David Grant. No, it's Pekin. Pekin marked. Hand passes to Devonport. He's had a bounce. He's had 2 bounces. He's told to run around and put it down on a long ball down towards the forward line. Stuart Lowe can't take it. Over the top, Cloak. Cloak will sweep up, pick it up, hand pass it to Smith, who wasn't ready. Got the shock of his life. Back to Cloak. A Stewart kick falls into the arms of Rice. Rice kicks a long ball down to Stuart Lowe. Where's Turner? Stewart's there in the pack. Punched away by Barry Young, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds, but there's a free kick, and it's going to go to Richmond, holding the man, and it's going to go to Barry Young against Stuart Lowe, who can't believe it. So Barry Young kicks in short and finds Tony free.
Barry Young got the shock of his life too. He couldn't believe it. Free kicks it across the ground. He's got a couple of Tigers over there, and Pickering takes the mark and has a bounce. Going around that outer side, he'll pump the hand pass into Bauer at centre wing, and Bauer's got to do likewise to work it further afield, and they kick it long up towards the centre half forward spot, but chopping in there is Harding to take the mark in defence. He's doing pretty well there, the big fellow for the St Kilda team. Harding kicks it over towards the outer side of the ground, looking for Burke. Nearly found that player, did find that player who took the mark. Half-back flank on the outer side. Hand passing up in the direction of centre wing position. They'll work it away now with Morris booting it as far as he possibly can, and that's up towards the half-forward line. But Cloak dropping back and over there has taken the mark on the half-back line on the outer side. Down at the punt road end at the 17-minute mark. He's kicked it upfield, and Pickering will come up there and take the mark on centre wing position on the outer side. That's Gale. On centre wing position on the outer side of the ground, and he's looking for somebody to lead for him. Coming in to take the kick now, driving it long up to the half-forward line, still travelling the outer flank. No spectators over there, of course. The hand pass out to Waitman. Waitman upfield, looking for Scott. Had a little bit of it, not enough, and Winmar scooped it up one hand. We tried to do that all day, actually. Hand passes further afield, and away will go Grant. Grant pumps the hand pass further up, over to Frawley, who hasn't been mentioned very much, then to Rice. Rice, whose father is here watching him, gets the ball across to Antrim. Antrim's back to Grant. Grant in the centre of the ground. The umpire's calling him to play on. Grant stopped for some unknown reason. Kicks it long. Now here's Lockett coming from behind, but he was trapped there. Hogg actually kept him out, and Cloak took the mark. Cloak's a hand pass across over to Young, wobbling away. A little bit bandy, coming up there out of the half-forward line, up to centre wing position, but Winmar has it on his own. Took the mark. There's a player going past with Ralph Smith, but they've picked him up. And Winmar picks himself up and about to take his kick. 18 minutes into the quarter.
Winmar kicks a long ball. Stuart Lowe versus Turner. Stuart Lowe couldn't take it. Good play, Turner. Pekin flung it out. Dead set, flung it to Ralph Smith. Back to Pekin. Rocket hand pass. Harvey. Look out. Here comes Nace. Hospital hand pass. The double giraffe hand pass. Came out to Lambert. Lambert picks it up. Hand passes it to the boy Underwood. In towards the centre of the ground. No one at home. Here comes Waitman. A cruel bounce. Here comes Devonport. Here comes Rice. He did it well to get it to Knights on the draw. Over the top to Gale. He should hand pass to Pickering. Pickering 30 metres. 45-degree angle behind. Oh, I was revving myself up for a Tiger goal, and it went behind. Tigers 6-11-47. St Kilda 13-10-88. Sam Newman for CIG Gas and Gear.
Geelong by 5 points, 8-12-60. Essendon 7-13-55.
Johnny Murphy.
Brisbane by 44 points, 12-8-80. Fitzroy 5-6-36.
19 minutes in. Frawley outside 50, outer side. Cloak is up, but he couldn't stop big, not big, it's Nathan Burke. Little fellow marking. Vice-like grip. Nathan Burke kicks it long, looking for Craven. Craven and Naish. Very good play by Naish defensively. Taps the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Sam sounds like Neville Rand, doesn't he? Actually, down there at Geelong. The ball coming back into play from centre wing position on that outer side of the ground. They reach over, picked up by Cloak. His kick misfired. Down onto the ground it goes. Several players piling on top of the ball. Out towards Burke. Burke got the hand pass out. Still on centre wing on the outer side of the ground to find Newport. Newport kicks it on the half-forward line. Up there is Winmar, or McAdam, is it? Winmar driving the ball, kicking it further upfield, and away he goes. Kicking the ball with McAdam up towards the centre half-forward spot. Lockett's coming out there. He's going to get some assistance here too. And the ball is hooked back. I think it's going to be a goal, although it is Stuart Lowe, that's his fourth. So it's a problem for opposing teams, Lockett and Lowe, and that takes the Saints on to 14-10 to 6-11. Richmond have played a little bit better than that would indicate, but they've dropped away in this quarter.
Well, I doubt if I've seen the improvement in a player's kicking as I have this year with Lowe, both on his set kicks and his snap kicks. He's obviously, as he's gone along in the season, has added confidence in that area. That was a terrific effort of such a big man.
21 minutes into the quarter. It's St Kilda 14-10 to 6-11 on the 3WCIG Gas and Gear scoreboard, and we're waiting for some action.
I might also add too that the Cloak idea of playing 20 metres in front of Big Tony has been abandoned about 2 or 3 minutes ago.
Misfired completely. That the ball in the centre now. Cloak in the centre too, but Harding won it down out towards Free. Free couldn't control it, but Craven can, coming out of the pack onto the left foot, kicking up towards centre half forward. A bit of nudging going on there. It's Hogg coming out in front of a Lockett. Did it well there to get the ball across over there to Smith. Smith kicked it at centre weak position on the member side of the ground. Plain as the call. It's dropped to the ground. There's a chance here for Young, taking it under control after a bounce, after 2 bounces. Gallop along with him as Lee's keeping opponents away, and Young's dropped it in short, and at centre half forward that'll be Underwood taking the mark there. I fancy Underwood on the half forward flank, actually on the member side of the ground, kicking to the railway or scoreboard end. 21 minutes and 21 seconds have gone by. It's 14-10 to 6-11. St Kilda leading, and Underwood looking for a long kick. He's back. He's about 70 metres away from goal. The man standing the mark is roaming around there on the 50-metre line, and Underwood taking plenty of time about this. is going to back himself to kick it. So let's see what he can do. He's put on its way. Shocking. Hooked it. Kicked it across goal. Won't even get the distance. At the back is a big fellow Gale. And after a little bit of pushing and shoving, he's come up with the mark. Do you think there was any pushing and shoving there, Ron?
No, I don't. It sort of may have looked a bit there, but I think it was very much accentuated by the St Kilda player. The ground's a bit slippery in parts. I noticed even then the umpire fell over, and of course he wasn't moving hardly.
Well, Gale comes in now and puts it on its way, and I think that may be a little bit astray. 1 point only, and Richmond on a 6-12. Disappointing, that kick from Gale. 6-12. Gale's yelling out something or other, indicating that he might have kicked a goal, but didn't look it from this position, although this position is not all that good. 6-12 to 14-10 with St Kilda leading. 23 minutes into the quarter, and Frawley kicks it out over to the outer side of the ground. What's he got over there? He's got Nathan Burke coming upfield, booting it long up towards the centre half forward spot, and Lowe's come out and takes the mark. He's out beyond centre half forward. Where's Lockett? Lockett's led one way, the other. He's gone backwards. Hog's watching him like a cat watching a mouse. Lockett's coming up a little bit far under it. Out to McAdam. McAdam pumps the hand pass out to Coghlan. Coghlan's kick is smothered on the way through, but it's come out to... might have been Harvey spotting it there. Leakin got off and he kicks a goal. And he's booted it through for another one, so that's his second, so he does kick them now and then. It's 15-10 to 6-12, St Kilda leading. They've hit the ton on the 3AW scoreboard.
CIG Gas and Gear round the ground, Sam Newman.
Well, it's a great game. Geelong by 5 points, 9-12, 66. Essendon 8-13, 61.
Neville Rand's gone. Gus Mercurio's with us. Let's go to John Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 48 points, 13-8, 86. Fitzroy 5-8, 38.
Ball back in the centre, 23 and a half in. St Kilda have bolted. They have just blitzed them this quarter, knocked out by Harding, looking for Craven. Over the top of the ball, Young tries to get it going. Make that Powell. He hoisted the ball down to the half-forward line, but it was for St Kilda. Here comes Newport. A worm burner, intercepted by Lees. Oh, little Anthropus hand passed out the peak, and in turn gets it across to Nathan Burke. Nathan Burke to Lockett, but Frank Coghlan takes a screamer. That was meant for Lockett. There is no doubt about it in my mind that it would have gone straight down the throat of Big Tony, and intercepted by Frank Coghlan, who wouldn't be very popular. It's only tongue-in-cheek because I don't think they care where they get them from. Frank Coghlan has already kicked one goal, and he's on a pretty acute angle. Let's call it midway between half-forward and forward pocket. Right attacking flank, St Kilda going to the punt road end. 24 minutes in. Frank Coghlan, very deliberate, skips in and has kicked a goal. 2 to Coghlan, 16 goals, 10, 106. That is the St Kilda score. Richmond 6-12, 48. That is all. Here's John Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 54 points, 14-8, 92. Fitzroy 5-8, 38.
Let's go to John Newman.
Well, Geelong lead by a goal, 9-13, 67. Essendon 8-13, 61.
Well, 25 minutes into the quarter here, so we're into the time on period as the umpire prepares to bounce the ball. 16-10 to 6-12. It's become a one-horse race. Cloak got it out of the centre, went out very quickly there, and coming through very strongly is Free after getting it from Ryan. Free kicks it wide over to the outer side of the ground. In there is Scott. Scott goes to ground, tumbled down. I think he meant to get down to try and get away from the tackle. Kicked off the ground by Free over there on the half-forward line on the outer side. Grant was in too. The umpire sees the ball go over the line, so it'll be delivered back into play by the boundary umpire. 16-10 to 6-12. 22 seconds into the time on period, and the ball in the forward pocket, a half-forward flank area for Richmond at the railway or scoreboard end. Spinning back into play. At the back was Hardy. In the front berth was Ryan. I fancy he did the better of the two. It went out to Devonport, and his high kick has gone very close to the boundary line. In fact, it's over and out, and the free kick will go to Richmond over there on centre wing position, or half-forward flank area on the outer side of the ground. The ball about to be got back. I can't see the ball. It must be out of play at the moment, or out of the ground. Anyone see the pill?
Yeah, here comes the other one's next to the drink drive bloody idiot sign, and there's no one there because the workers have stopped to have a look at the footy. Let's go to John Newman and Caninia Park.
It's three-quarter time and the scores are level, 9-13, 67, Geelong and Essendon.
Tony Free's got it here. He kicks it up towards the centre of the ground, up towards centre half forward, and the ball is going to, I think there's going to be a bounce take place here. The umpire running in. He's indicated there's a free kick to go to Gale, and I don't know what that one was for. I couldn't pick it at all, but however, it must have been there. That's Gale with a free kick. He missed his last attempt to kick a goal, so let's see what he can do on this occasion. 16-10 to 6-12, just on the 26.5-minute mark of the third quarter. The crowd have gone quiet because it's ceased to be a contest in this particular quarter, insofar as the scores are concerned. 16-10 to 6-12, and Gale lining them up 45 to 50 metres out. The kick spinning on its way. It won't make the distance unless they punch it through, which is exactly what did happen for 1 point. The St Kilda defence happy to see that happen. 16-10 to 6-13, 27 minutes into the quarter.
Frawley's got it at full back and will kick it out towards Harvey. A little 9-iron, just a little wedge. He hand passes to Winmar. Winmar lets it sit for him, and look at the pace of the man. He kicks a skew-if looking kick, and Tony Free takes a very nice mark in front of Coghlan of St Kilda. So Tony Free of Richmond has got it in the centre of the ground. He kicks a long ball. Harding should go up and mark, and does. Picked him out beautifully. Hand passing to Rice. Rice now goes on, and there's a player down in the centre of the ground. Tony Free runs around. Coghlan gets up, wiping his jaw. And here comes the ball, and it's over the boundary line and out of bounds. And how's that for a set of wobbly knees, Bill? You saw what I saw.
Yes, he doesn't look very flash at all. Back over there on the outer side of the ground, the ball back into play. That was Gale winning a knockout, but there's an infringement, and once again St Kilda, in this case in the person of Harding, will take the free kick. He's on the half-back line on the outer side, defending at the railway scoreboard end. 28 minutes have gone by in the quarter. He's kicked it around that outer side over in the direction of Craven, who picks it up and scoots away, pumps a hand pass very quickly across field to Nathan Burke. They go further afield with McAdam controlling the ball. On the half-forward line, kicking it towards the forward pocket. Cloak dropping back, Lockett it behind, spoiled effectively, but it's gone dribbled over the line, and it's going to be thrown back into play just on the 28.5-minute mark of the third quarter, which has been all St Kilda. 16-10 to 6-13 is the score. The ball about to come back into play. It is now. There's a bit of St Kilda support here. Knocked away by Lowe, still in the forward pocket on the outer side of the ground for St Kilda. Nobody can clear the ball. The umpire's decided he can do something about it, and the free kick will go to Richmond. Richmond coming away now and booting it long as Smith. Smith's kick to the members' side of the ground. Leading up there is Pickering. Pickering close to the line, and he's ridden over the line. The umpire says it's got to be thrown back into play, and Winmar rode Pickering over the line, and Hogg didn't like what he saw because he chastised Winmar. The ball out of bounds on the half-forward line for St Kilda. Members' side of the ground at the punt road end. Boundary umpire spinning, whirling it back into play in the front berth. Cloak, but Lockett outsmarted him, grabbed it, kicked it up towards full forward. Racing over there is Turner and Lowe. It's a two-out duel, and Turner gets to the ball quicker, gets onto the left foot and kicks it around the outer side. He had no choice, and he kicked it over the line out of bounds. It'll be thrown in near enough to half-forward flank for St Kilda, travelling the outer flank to the punt road end. 29.5 minutes in the third quarter, 16-10 to 6-13 on the 3W CIG gas and gear scoreboard. The umpire whirls it back into play in there. Low, and Low won it. He got it down, but Lambert's going to buzz away with the ball. Gets onto the left foot, kicks it wide, out to the outer side of the ground. Over there is Free, picking it up and kicking further field. And I think I might play that mark to Gale. Bondi, what do you reckon? A mark to Gale, but the siren sounded. And at three-quarter time, scores of St Kilda 6-10. Richmond 6-13 on the 3W CIG gas and gear scoreboard.
Yes, so St Kilda kicking 5 goals, 5 in that quarter, and Richmond kicking 4 behind. So not a good quarter for Richmond. Let's get that three-quarter time score again from Sam Newman.
Well, the scores are level. Geelong and Essendon are 9-13-67.
And let's get a score from John Murphy.
Brisbane leading by 60 points, 15-8-98, Fitzroy 5-8-38.
Back shortly, 3RW football, 106, and Richmond is 6-13-49. Here's Bill with some better players.
Well, Richmond didn't have too many of that quarter, that's for sure, and that's the reason I'd leave Waitman up there for his first half. Pickering, Gale, Free. I think Turner's defended fairly strongly, spoiling, etc. Smith's been fairly useful. For St Kilda, Coghlan, Lockett, Lowe, Winmar, Craven, Burke and Harvey, and I've left out a couple of possession getters, 2 pretty good possession getters in Davenport and Morris.
Okay, here's Bondi.
Well, in that quarter for Richmond, Tony Free had 7 kicks and Craig Smith 6. David Cloak got into the game with 3 hand passes, 5 marks and 6 kicks. And for St Kilda, we had a good quarter there by Russell Morris, again with 5 kicks. Devonport had 4, and Nathan Burke picked up 5 kicks, 4 hand passes and 4 marks. And Harvey had 1 kick and 8 hand passes, all in the third quarter.
Yes, thank you for that. Let's get a quick score from John Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 54 points, 15-8-98. Brad Hardy has kicked 4 goals to Fitzroy 6-8-44.
Here's Ron Barassi.
Well, the most disappointing quarter for Richmond. 5 goals to zip is not good. In fact, the other mobs from Kilda have now scored 11 last goals in the game. And Richmond haven't scored a goal in the last about just over 50 odd minutes, and that's considering their conditions, which are almost perfect, certainly very good for this time of the year. That's a pretty dismal thing, and with Lowe doing very well at centre half forward, kicking a couple of goals at the time. Pekin doing exceptionally well as a loose man all around the ground, because Cloak was down there in front of big Tony Lockett, giving Harding a free rein. That changed a bit when Coach Bartlett of Richmond gave away the idea of playing Cloak in front of Tony and put Cloak on the ball, and Cloak immediately got into the play and gave a bit of drive, but to no avail. Of course, by now, St Kilda well and truly have their tail up. They're very, very confident. They're almost at the stage of finessing, which would be a very natural thing to do, but something they must avoid. If they're going to be a very, very good side, they have a lead of 57 points, and they have Richmond on their knees, and they should go for the jugular now and really finish them off and aim for about an 80-point win. That's quite possible given his situation, especially as big Tony Lockett didn't kick a goal that quarter after having scored 5 in the first half.
Okay, thank you, Ron. Just looking at the members there, I see Billy Hodges there. He'll be bringing us our league ladder. Yes, good on you, Bill. And see Superintendent Ian Williamson there from the drug squad. His father coached St Kilda in the early 1930s and 40s. So good on you, Willie. Yes, I'll give you a wave. So a man responsible in the drug squad for the police department. His father coaching Cole Williamson in the 30s or 40s for St Kilda. So the ball now back in the centre of the ground. Let's just check there with Sam Newman down at Cardinia Park.
It's Geelong by 5 points. They're 10-13-73. Essendon 9-14-68.
Okay, let's get to John Murphy.
47-point lead to Brisbane, 15-8-98. Fitzroy 7-9-51.
Brand new football. And the umpire is Trevor Garrett. He's got it and puts it into the ground. And look at it, 11 metres into the air. Knocked out by Vidovic, back on the ground, overrunning the ball. Poole trying to get the ball going there was the boy Scott, but it came out further afield. Ryan for Richmond, hand passes to Naish. Naish kicks, a goal for Richmond. Well, there you are, a quick reply. Naish has kicked his second, 22 seconds that took, and Richmond have got 7-13-55. St Kilda 16-10, 106. Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard. I'll need a few more, Ron.
I need a lot more of those, but by gee, the way they went into the centre bounce, hoping that it came to the ground, and they just absolutely swamped that bounce when it hit the deck. They've certainly been revved up by something that Kevin Bartlett said, or took it upon their own hands to avoid a walloping, and they're doing something about it.
There's that helicopter over there from the World Trade Centre, bringing people to show us this grand stadium, and it's a beauty, isn't it? Here comes Mitchell. Richmond starting to get a bit of a tail up. A long ball, a brand new football down towards Scott. Frawley punches it from behind. It's spilt to 50 metres. Here comes Naish. Ran into trouble. Here comes the flea. He lost possession of the ball. Barry Young picks it up. Hand passes it to Mitchell. Half volley. Weaves his way through. Out of trouble, but he dropped the footy. Vidovic picked it up. He got it across to Craven, a long ball, and Rice hand passed it out to Harvey. Here he goes, Harvey. He'll do something with it. Hand pass it to Harding. It was Newport, I should say. Across to Antrobus. Antrobus a short kick. It'll spill the windmill. No, it won't, because here comes Brendan Bauer. Running, and picks it up. Runs through the rock hard centre and kicks it long. Devonport will have to spoil Gale, but Gale has taken it. No, he hasn't. Devonport hand passes it. Picked up by Naish. A giraffe kick. In towards the scoring area. Ryan for Richmond can't take it. Now he picks it up. Ryan runs around and has kicked a goal. Behind. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't see the umpire tap himself, but he did then. Well, Ryan, behind goes the footy. 7-14-56 Tigers. St Kilda 16-10, 106. Dan Murphy Sellers, 2.25 minutes in.
Grant kicks the ball to the outer side of the ground. Everything clear there. And the mark taken over there on the half-forward flank. taking it and kicking it away will be Newport coming upfield. They're kicking up towards the centre of the ground and finds Pekin. Pekin at centre half forward. Got the ball across. They work it at field. Up to Grant. Grant got it across there from Rice. Grant kicks around the member side of the ground, leading out there strongly, but it's going to be over the line out of bounds to be thrown back into play with Bow the last to touch it. 16-10 to 7-14 on the 3AW scoreboard. 3AW Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard. 2 3/4 minutes into the last quarter with the result obviously a foregone conclusion. Cloak battling in the ruck. He was beaten there by Vidovic, who got it down to Craven, who's had a few kicks. Craven kicks up towards the full forward spot, and in there to take the mark is Stuart Lowe. How many possessions Craven, please, Bondi?
Danny Craven, 9 kicks, 8 hand passes, and Stuart Lowe's just taken his 9th mark.
Right, I thought Craven had more than that, so perhaps not as good as I thought, but he seems to be around the ground a bit. Anyhow, Stuart Lowe, what his 9th mark?
9th mark coming in for kick number 12 and goal number 5 should he get it.
Right, Lowe, he's just a little bit over the 50-metre line now. 3 1/4 minutes in, 16-10 to 7-14. Into the last quarter, I should be more specific, and Lowe comes in to put the ball on its way, and he's kicked his goal. That's his 5th goal. So the improvement, Ron's talked about it, everyone's talked about the improvement in this fellow's kicking is quite remarkable, and he's pretty much of a dead-eye dick now. 17-10 to 7-14, St Kilda leading.
Yes, remarkable concentration by Stuart Lowe, spoken about by Peter Hudson on 3AW yesterday. 3AW get the big names.
Back into the centre for the bounce. It's coming up to the 4-minute mark of the last quarter. 17-10 to 7-14 as the bounce goes down in the middle of the ground. Won by Vidovic out very quickly, and they boot it upfield up towards the centre half forward spot, but Pickering has taken the mark there. The kick upfield from Pekin, knocked away now. It's gone over towards the outer side of the ground. Tony Free is there. Free eludes a tackle. Hand passes to Lambert. Lambert gives it upfield to Hogg, who missed it, but Free came in and made it pretty good. Picked it up with the left hand. Kicked towards centre wing. Gathered in by Smith of Richmond. Smith a hand pass out, made it very difficult for Whiteman. Craven has got it. Craven about to get his 10th kick, I think it is, and now driving it over towards the half forward line. Lowe is out there, well in front of Turner, but Turner scooped it up beautifully to take it away from the big fellow. Kicks it around the outer side. Over there is Cloak on his own, being pursued by Craven. A hand pass upfield will find Powell over there, up to the right foot and kicking it up towards the full forward area. All over his opponent was Danny Frawley. It frisked its way out, went to Nace, and Nace's kick has hit the post. Hit the bottom of the post. So that's 1 point to the Tigers. 17-10 St Kilda, 7-14 the Tigers on the 3AW scoreboard. 5 minutes into the last quarter.
David Grant kicks it out, and he'll be looking over there for Frawley, who marks. Hand passes to Harvey. Away they go again, St Kilda. Harvey outside 50, short kick. Pekin marks. Hand pass to Craven. Craven runs through the centre. Here comes Lockett. He's got a set. Over the top was Hogg. Good spoiling tactics. Picked up by Leeds of Richmond. Short kick over there was meant for Tony Free. Couldn't get it. Over the top of the ball was Newport, dispossessed. Hand pass by Free to Hogg. Richmond away out of defence. Long bomb. Barry Young, you've got to go. But the only one interested was the boy for St Kilda in Jones. Jones on the left boot. There's got a player over there. That will be Morris. And Morris marks over there in front of Pickering. Morris on centre wing over the top. Who's there? A stationary Pekin. Hand pass to a moving target. That was Harvey. Ran around out of the bog. Kicks it to Anthropus, but it was 4 feet too high. Marked by Cloak. Cloak a long hand pass to Nace. No one to give it to. Nace is tackled high. Can't pay advantage there, I'm sorry. And Nace has got to go back over the mark. He does now. Time off blown. Or time on. Doesn't matter. Here comes a long ball. Down towards the centre scoring area. Coming out, there's the boy there for Scott for Richmond. Pushed in the back. Play on, said the umpire. On hands and knees, over the top. Hand pass from Pekin, found Morris. Morris tapped it onto Craven. Craven scooped it out to Cloak. Cloak couldn't believe his luck and scooped a little 9-9 to Smith. Smith for Richmond bounces inside 50, and it's kicked a goal. So a goal to Smith. And Richmond are 8-15-63. They trail St Kilda 17-10, 112, 6.5 minutes. Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard. Let's go to Sam Newman at Cardinia Park.
Yebbita. Geelong by 19 points, 12-15, 87 Essendon, 9-14, 68.
Bit premature. Here's John Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 33 points, 15-9-99. Fitzroy 9-12-66.
7 minutes into the last quarter here at 17-10 to 8-15, 112-63, and the ball about to be bounced. It is bounced, tapped away by Vidovic. Smith had it on the way through, lost it. Down and back into the centre circle it goes. Harvey pursues it, but Craven came through with the ball only to be besieged by players. Down on the ground it goes, and the umpire eventually waiting for somebody to throw it out. Didn't come, so he was forced to bounce it. In the centre of the ground, 7 minutes and 11 seconds into the last quarter, 17-10 to 8-15. St Kilda leading. Down it goes in the middle of the ground. There's Vidovic, and Vidovic won it well. Played well in the first quarter. Set them on their way. Over there in the direction of Powell. Bounces away from Powell. Down on the ground it goes. Nobody able to pick it up. Players tumble over each other. Kicked out over there in the direction of McAdam. McAdam picked it up. Whipped it out towards Ralph Smith. He was knocked aside. And eventually it came out. It's going to be Powell taking it away. Bouncing once as he goes around that outer side of the ground. Steadying up. Kicked into the man coming across the path of the ball. That will be Davenport. And he boots the ball down towards centre half forward. In there was Harding. Harding bounced off his chest. The ball came out to Lambert. Lambert got the hand pass and kicked it up. Kicks up towards centre half forward, and Ryan takes a mark a little wide of that position, favouring the members' side of the ground. Ryan about to kick the ball. Des Ryan about to kick the ball. He got a lead up from the youngster Scott. Chose to ignore it on that occasion. Kicked it up towards Underwood. Off his hands it went. Down on the ground. Over towards Jones. Jones can't control it for St Kilda. Out towards the boundary line it goes. Still in the pocket. And the Saints clear it away with Grant kicking it upfield. Up towards the half-forward flank area. Knocked it away. Down to the ground it goes. Player appealing for free kicks. And the free kick is going to go to Richmond and be taken by Ryan. His second kick in the space of about 20 seconds, and he spears it across to Smith, who kicked the last goal. On the half-forward line now, kicking it long, back into the forward pocket it goes. They bunched there, knocked away, nobody able to control it. Off the hands of Grant, it went to Craven. He was dispossessed. Winmar had a chance, lost it. Still on the half-back line for St Kilda, and eventually they come up with a free kick, and Rice will take it coming up the 9-minute mark of the quarter.
Dean Rice, one step, 50-metre kick. McAdam can't take the mark, punched by Bauer. Crumbs picked up by Harvey, hand passes to Pekin. Pekin runs around, hand passes to McAdam. You've got to get rid of it. Smith's on your back. That was Lambert. Kicked off the ground by Tony Free. Cloker, hand pass to Smith. Smith hand passes to Nace. Nace runs around and kicks a long ball. Here comes the big fellows. Who's there? Morris. Can't take the mark, down to Gale. And Gale has kicked. Out of bounds on the full. Here's Sam Newman at Geelong.
Geelong still by 19 points, 12-15, 87 Essendon, 9-14, 68.
So Jones has got it for St Kilda. Kicks it outside 50, looking for Grant. Can't take the mark. Play on, said the umpire. Smith comes through and hand passes. Went to David Grant, who was taken over the boundary line and out of bounds. It was out of bounds, ladies and gentlemen, before he completed the tackle. So please save your energy and listen to 3AW. Ball now, 60 metres around from the punt road end. Back into the ground goes the footy, knocked out by the big fellow Vidovic. Went to Harvey over the top of the ball, scooped it out nicely to Rice. Rice, the wobbly old kick goes to centre wing. Cloker's up and takes the mark. Hand passes to Lambert. Lambert a long ball. No one at home. Here comes Frawley. Frawley goes up and Frawley takes a very strong mark.
Near enough to centre half back when he took it. A little bit down from there towards his defensive zone. Limping too, which is doesn't look too good. Now he's straightened up and he's looking for a hand pass immediately. They may have pulled a muscle there. The ball came out to Craven. Craven getting the ball away from the half back flank into the centre of the ground, and away they go from the centre of the ground upfield by Pekin up to McAdam, and McAdam nearly had his head taken off. He saw it coming and got away from it. Kicks into the pocket, but he's going to send McAdam back to take his kick. Quick reflexes there, Ronnie. Could have been cleaned up properly.
Oh, that's the mark of the Aboriginal football, isn't it? Like the reflexes, their vision, balance are just absolutely incredible. I thought it was going to be a very severe collision there.
Yeah. Well, McAdam's got it. He's back over the 50-metre line. The man standing the mark is Bauer, and he's standing about, we'll call it 42 or 3 metres out. It's 17-10 to 8-15, and Gilbert McAdam coming in to take his kick across the 50-metre line. He kicked from 50. He's put on its way, and it's offline for 1 point only. So that's 17-11 St Kilda, 17-11, 1-1-3. Leading Richmond 8-15, 63, 11 minutes and 9 seconds into the quarter, and the ball about to be kicked back into play by Hogg. Hogg booting the ball now over to the member side of the ground. Some jostling there, and Harvey comes in from the side and the back, slightly from the side to take the mark. He's looking for his handball, and Harvey about to get the ball under control, and he kicks it across field, and over there is Pekin. Pekin, rather an underestimated player in many ways. He's a very good footballer, really. Kicks it up to the forward pocket. McAdam takes it in and strolls in to kick a point. Hit the post from point blank range. So that's 17-12-114. Richmond 8-15-63, just on 12 minutes into the quarter.
Sam Newman at Kardinia Park.
Watson just kicked a goal for Essendon. They're 10-14-74, 13 points behind Geelong, 12-15-87.
Hogg kicks it out, looking for Gale, punched away by Russell Morris. Here comes Bauer on the draw, transfers play with a hand pass to Lambert, who kicks it down to Smith, who marks. Smith is marked in front of Harvey on centre wing member's side. Richmond going to the punt road end. He kicks it in short, looking for Gale. Gale goes up and takes a very good mark. Marked okay today, Brendan Gale. Thrown into the ruckers. Cloak dropped back onto the fence. Here comes the boy there, Scott for Richmond. Punched away by Danny Frawley. Down to Mitchell. Gives them all a flick. But then he falls over. But he picks himself up. Over the top of the ball, Anthropus. His leg can't get rid of it, possibly. And the umpire will bounce. Here's John Murphy with a score from Brisbane.
Brisbane lead by 31 points, 16-9-105. Fitzroy 10-14-74.
So the umpire's got the football. He's going to now go in and bounce it on the line. Bang, into the turf it goes and up it goes. Knocked out by no one. Went to ground. Here comes the flea. Grab when he didn't have the ball. Hands and knees. Hand passes to Gale. Hand pass finds Pickering. Pickering a high ball down towards the centre scoring area. And going up is David Grant. Takes a lovely mark for St Kilda. The ground is slippery. There's no doubt about that. The boundary umpire fell over. Picked himself up. Wiped the grass off his rear end and it went out towards Rice. Rice kicks a long ball down towards Morris. He'll mark. He'll hand pass on to McAdam. McAdam's away. He's got a... No, that's Winmar. Winmar, same sort of player, aren't they? Really will-o'-the-wisp. Down towards the forward line. Low falls over, but here comes Turner. Turner runs outside 50 for Richmond and kicks it down towards Gale, who's taken another mark.
On the centre wing on the outer side of the ground, they still come forward. He gets it up to Smith, and Smith's a little bit short of half-forward flank. Kicks it across to Pickering, who marks about the same distance out, but straighter. Pickering into the pocket. Chopped off there by Rice, knocking it over towards the boundary line, and from there it goes over the line out of bounds, and a throw-in will ensue. 17-12 to 8-15, 13 and a half minutes into the last quarter here at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. The ball about to be flung back into play by the boundary umpire. He's spot on the 50-metre line. Back it comes. In there doing the ruck work was Vidovic, and he won it. Went down to Pickering. Pickering onto the left foot. Kicks it across towards centre half forward. Nobody attempted the mark there. They were jostling so much. Down to the ground it goes. Coming out with the ball and putting it through for a goal was Powell. Powell now has his first goal on the board for the day. That takes the Tigers on to 9-15, which is 69. Trailing St Kilda 17-12-114, and we're nearly halfway through the last quarter.
We better get back to Kardinia Park. Here's Sam Newman.
20 points Geelong, 13-16, 94. Essendon 10-14-74.
Johnny Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 33 points, 16-11-107. Fitzroy 10-14-74. Alice Lynch lines up for goal.
Yes, thank you very much. 14 and a half minutes in. Bang goes the ball, 11 metres into the air, knocked out by Vidovic, went another 7 metres into the air, knocked on by Harvey, basketball style. Here comes Ryan for Richmond, taps it on in front of himself, hand passes it, but it fell into the arms of David Grant. Grant will scoop it out, he'll try and get it out, he does, and does a good job. Ryan scoops it on, went to Barry Young. Young hand pass to Nace. Nace outside 50, hand pass to Smith, who'll line it up from 40 metres and kick a goal. So Smith has got a goal, that's goal number 2 for Smith. Tigers coming home all too late. Richmond 10-15-75. St Kilda 17-12-114. Here's Barras.
Yes, nice hand passing work by young Nace there. Certainly Richmond seemed to be determined to finish this game off with some sort of pride, which of course is what most coaches will ask of their players when facing a walloping at three-quarter time. So it's good to see they've reacted.
Ball back in the centre. Put on the turf, thumped out by Gale, went into the arms of Morris. Morris of St Kilda looking for a hand pass. He found Rice. Rice runs off the half-back line and kicks it to half-forward. Cloak should mark. Over the top low. Nearly took it. 2 bites of the Terry. Down towards Bauer. Hand passing to Turner. Turner of Richmond kicks it long. Right across the other side there. Who's that? Barry Young. He's going to drop the mark and then run away and bounce it twice. Twice as I speak. We'll need another one, but kicks it long. Scott versus Frawley. Backing back is Grant. Picked up by Scott. Scott hand passes to the Flea, and the Flea kicks a goal. 2 to Waitman, 11-15-81 Richmond. Hey, what's happening here? St Kilda 17-12-114. And St Kilda have stopped 16 minutes in. Sam Newman, Kardinia Park.
Geelong at 22 points up and will win 13-18-96. Like I said before, Essendon 10-14-74.
Kenny Sheldon won't like this. John Murphy.
Three-quarter time, a 27-point lead to Brisbane, 16-11-107. Hardy 5 goals to Fitzroy, 11-14-80.
Well, that was pretty good work by young Scott. He recovered and got the hand hand pass out to White, and I thought it was pretty effective. Well, it was effective. It reached the target. 17-12 to 11-15. 17 minutes into the last quarter at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Down it goes in the middle of the ground. In to do the ruck work. Harding and Gale. Nobody got the Vidovic, I should say. Knocked to the ground. Over there in the direction of Winmar. Pursued by Mitchell. Not caught. Winmar gets his kick. Hooks it back towards centre half forward. Pushing the back there. Should have been a free kick to Low, but it's fallen free to Antrobus, who snaps a goal. Just as quickly as that. They needed that as a way to get the sniff in their nostrils again, which takes the Saints on to 18-12, 120, leading Richmond 11-15, 81. We've played 17 and a half minutes in the last quarter.
Tony Lockett's booted 5 goals in the first half, but I dare to say he's had 1 kick since then, Ron.
Yes, it's been an amazing performance, really. The way he was playing, it looked as though it was at least a double-figure job, and if he corrected his kicking inaccuracy, you would have thought perhaps a dozen. But it hasn't been that way at all.
Well, he can't blame the players upfield because they kept on pumping it down, so you've got to pay some due to the full backs, I guess, and the back line generally. The ball coming upfield, it's out to Morris, who pumped the hand pass away, hooked in gracefully by Winmar on the centre wing. He boots it long. Here's Lockett coming up. Might have the set on this. Yes, he has. Lockett's taken the mark. He read the flight of the ball pretty well, perfectly in fact, and he's taken the mark in front of Hogg, who probably would like to be kicking goals down the other end of the ground. So Lockett now, he's standing about 54 metres out from goal. 18-12 to 11-15 is the score, and Hogg, a little bit disconsolate about it, stands there with the arms up, and Lockett will cross the line to kick the ball up towards the railway or scoreboard end. On the members' flank, Lockett comes in now to put on its way, but he's off the target again. He can't say he hasn't had the opportunities. What's his tally, please, Graham?
He's kicked 5 goals, 5, Bill.
5-5. Yes, it makes you wonder just what he could have had. Normally, he's a bit of a dead-eye dick, but today is not the case. And the ball about to be kicked back into play by Turner, who I believe has done a pretty useful job around the back line all day. 18-13 to 11-15. He's kicked it up towards his team half back line. Up there was Gale, pinched by Morris. He stole it. Morris gets a hand pass out to Craven. Craven onto the left foot, up towards full forward. In the front berth, Lockett knocked to the ground. A chance here for Richmond if they're quick enough. They just lumbered after, picked up by Low, but it hit the behind post, bounced and hit the behind post, so it'll be thrown back into play. In the forward pocket on the members' side and at the railway end, it's 18-13 to 11-15 as we creep past the 19-minute mark on the clock. Back into play, it spins high there, knocking it away was Turner. Out to the ubiquitous Antrobus, knocked over towards the boundary line. Free picks it up, kept the ball in play, went out himself, hand pass to Waitman. Waitman spears the ball across to centre half forward. Over there is a chance for the Tigers through Powell. Powell to Bowers, good handball. He bounces going through the centre, looking for more handball. He was caught because his opponent didn't respond. Winmar flash pass like a train. Hand passes it out to Ralph Smith. A hand pass 25 metres upfield. Finds McAdam on the half forward line. On the outer side of the ground. He's hooked it up towards Lockett, leading out, and Lockett marked. Lockett marked. Lovely kick by McAdam. He saw the direction in which Lockett was heading and hooked it over there. And the big fellow came in to take the mark 40 metres out from goal and close to being directly in front. Well, all of the supporters on his team, no doubt, have been waiting for his 6th goal, and it's about a chance to happen now. 18-13 to 11-15, and Tony Lockett kicking up towards the huge scoreboard end. Coming in across the 50-metre line. McAdam being attended by a trainer, and Lockett very, very carefully comes in to put the ball on its way, and I think he's off the target again. He is. 1 point only, so that's 5-6 to Tony Lockett, and he's a bit bewildered by it himself, I think. It's 18-14 to 11-15. Richmond trailing.
Could have been an embarrassment, but I'm sure that Tony will want some work on this during the week. Kicked out by Turner. Peakin from behind, punches from Smith, went to Waitman, hand passing to Mitchell. Mitchell runs away and kicks it long, looking for Pickering. Up over the top there, Rice spoiled his teammate. Went down towards Grant of St Kilda. He's tackled beautifully by Ryan. The ball spills to the boundary line, and in fact is gone very, very close. The ball comes out towards Tony Free. Kicks it out to Mitchell, who marks on the 50-metre line. So Mitchell is marked, 45-degree angle. 55 metres out from where he stands, kicking into the sun-drenched punt road end of the MCG, the only little bit of sun on the ground. He's kicked it long and the ball goes through the sun into the shadow and out again, and the football went behind. So Richmond 11-16-82, St Kilda 18-14-122. Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard. John Newman at Cardinia Park.
Well, Geelong are 24 points ahead. 13:21.99. Essendon 10:15.75. 28 minutes gone.
Morris kicks it out, knocked away by Winmar. Hand pass came from Naish, went back to Pickering. Pickering hand pass to Underwood. Underwood a long kick, goes in towards Barry Young. Couldn't take it, but here comes Rice, pinches the footy, draws the opposition, hand passes to Craven. Craven hand passes to Harding. Harding outside 50, kicks a long ball. McAdam versus Bow. Bow punches it, went to Smith. Smith hand passes to nobody, but Cloak picked it up on the half volley. Got the hand pass across to the boy there, Underwood. Hand passing to Smith. On the draw down towards Naish, and Naish goes up and marks. Let's go to John Murphy for a score.
Three-quarter time, it's a 27-point lead to Brisbane. 16-11, 107. Hardy 5 goals to Fitzroy 11-14, 80.
So it's going to be Naish who has kicked 2 goals. St Kilda have kicked 18. Richmond have kicked 11. It's all over here, folks. Porky Pig time, I've been told to say. Well, there you are. Porky Pig, I can't remember him. Little Bugs Bunny is my favourite. So, this is 3AW football, folks. So, got to put something to it, Ron. It's gone dead after half-time, and the only interest was Tony Lockett. Could have kicked a dozen, but he hasn't. Here's Naish. He's kicked 2. Comes in, puts the ball on its way, and has kicked a behind. So Naish still has 2 goals. Richmond have 11-17-83. St Kilda 18-14-122. 23 minutes in and 32,782 here today.
Grant about to kick the ball back into the ground, up towards his team's half-back line. The back was Cloak. He slid, went to the ground, and in doing so infringed. The advantage rule is paid. Grant coming up, takes the ball under control, kicks towards McAdam, eluded him. A chance there for free. McAdam bowled over. Somebody else bowled over too. And now we find Brendan Bauer coming away with the ball and kicking to Mitchell, who marks on centre wing. Scooting away. Will have a bounce, I think. No, he won't. He's from centre wing. He's drilled the ball up towards the full forward spot, but Morris comes across and chops it off, and Morris still gathering possessions. Drops it over towards the half-forward flank, half-back flank, and Davenport will take the free kick. There's a problem out in the ground. A St Kilda player badly hurt. It may be Burke. I can't see him.
Rice when he fell, hit his head on the ground in that contest with Cloak.
Right. Okay, it's Davenport with the ball, and they're bringing the stretcher out.
Let's go to Sam Newman at Cardinia Park.
24 points. Geelong lead by 99-75, 30 minutes in.
Okay, here's Ron Barassi.
Yes, it was exactly as Graham Bonner described, that a complete accident. The boy doesn't look particularly good, and the umpire had no option other than to stop play because the ball was coming in that direction, and a fear of a collision and even a worse mess could have eventuated. So that's the time the umpire uses common sense, halts play, and it's held up until the player is taken off on the stretch, and of course they won't bother putting him through the emergency gate near the emergency umpire where...
Okay, here's John Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 33 points, 17-11, 113 to Fitzroy 11-14, 80 in the last quarter.
We'll go back to John Newman.
Yeah, Geelong are too strong and too sharp and are the best side in the competition at the minute. 13-21-99, Essendon 10-15-75.
You try hard, WC Fields.
Well, I invite you to have a look at them someday, Bill.
Oh, we always do when we get a chance, son. Little thing called routine. You take your turn in the queue. But we think highly of them too, but we don't think they're the best team in the competition. All right, Sam, you've had your fun. Ta-da. Davenport from the half-back flank is kicking it around the member side of the ground, up towards centre wing. Cloak high. Took a mark he'd have been proud of in his younger days. Cloak now, centre wing. Turned one way and then the other. Didn't exactly accelerate, but he's away. Gets his kick in the nick of time, up towards the full forward area. A chance there for Scott, but it's chopped off. That was a lovely mark taken by Grant, who takes a few like that from time to time. Out of the back pocket, coming around the member side of the ground. Cloak may take another one, and he has. Whoa! The citizens are up and about now. Loki relishes it, kicks it across to the centre of the ground. He'll find Powell. Powell hand passing to Smith. Smith has to kick hurriedly in towards the forward line, and in there to take the mark for the Tigers, and coming in to mark it on his chest is Barry Young, I think it might be, as he heads towards us. It is, and he's going to kick from about 25 metres out. The angle not acute by any stretch of imagination, and it's 26 minutes into the quarter. The score is 18-14 to 11-17, and Young a chance to have a shot, or not a chance, he's having a shot, and kicking up towards the punt road end, or down towards the punt road end, whichever you prefer. Young coming in now, a reasonable play. We'll get better, I think, this fella. and he's put that through for a goal, I think. Yes, it's a goal to the Tigers, so that from the boot of Young, and they trail St Kilda. St Kilda 18-14, 122. Richmond 12-17, 89. The difference is 33 points.
Yes, here's Rombarassi.
Well, I don't think St Kilda coach will be very happy with his team. They've definitely taken the foot off the accelerator, no question of that. And they've blown a lead which got up towards the 10-goal mark, and we're down now to the 6-goal mark.
Well, full marks to the Tigers. They've kept at it. They've kept the nose to the grindstone. Knocked away by Harding. Down into a cluster of players. Coming out with a ball is Smith. He kicks up towards centre-half forward. Must have been touched by on. Ryan didn't attempt to mark. Got it to Cloak, who got his third kick in about 3 minutes or 2 minutes. Up towards the half-forward line. The umpires call play on as players pile over the top of the ball. And the umpires decided to bounce the ball around about half-forward flank. A little bit shorter than that towards the punt road end of the ground. Half-forward flank for Richmond, who were kicking in that direction. 18-14 to 12-17, 27 and a half minutes played. Croker knocked it out, went down very quickly there to Whiteman. Whiteman was dispossessed, so too was everyone else, but the umpire has found a free kick, and it's going to go to St Kilda's Nathan Burke.
Final score at Geelong, here's Sam Newman.
Final score here, Geelong by 24 points, 13-21-99, Essendon 10-15-75.
Underwood hand passes, but it went straight to Winmar. Winmar of St Kilda kicks it out towards Ralph Smith. He's on hands and knees, scoops it on, looking for Harvey. Harvey falls over, went down towards Nash. Nash hand passed it out to Underwood, back again to Nash. On the left boot, a high ball down to Cloak, who takes another mark. So Cloakey now hand passes to Underwood. Underwood comes in, long way out from goal. A long bomb. David Grant, magnificent mark, kicks it out into the open spaces, and here's Devonport. Devonport marks. Played well, Craig Devonport. Hand pass to Nathan Burke. A hand pass to Nicky Winmar. One bounce. He now kicks it long, looking for Gilbert McAdam. He does a circular waltz and marks in front of Brendan Bauer. His coordination was beaut. He says to Lockett, lead. Lockett says, I can't lead. Have a look at all these blokes. So Anthropos leads and takes a magnificent mark, only about 3 metres outside the boundary line, and Tony Free will take the kick.
Well, there's not much left in the game. 28 and a half minutes have gone. Free coming out of the back pocket has kicked it around the member side of the ground up towards centre wing. Winmar! High in the middle of the pack, pull down on a screamer. He loves doing that. Got a bit of a ride up the back of an opponent, and Winmar's got the mark on centre wing on the member side of the ground, kicking it across towards centre half forward. Lockett's come out there, and Lockett puts up the hands, grabs the mark, and here's another chance to kick his 6th goal. 29 minutes and 5 seconds at the time he took the mark, and kicking up towards the scoreboard end, the railway end, 18-14 to 12-17. And all the speculation about how many goals Tony Lockett would kick has all gone astray, because he's now lining up for his 6th goal, which is not a bad day's work, but he could have been so much better off. He could have had double figures in goals. He's coming across the 50-metre line now. He'll go well inside the 50 metres. The man standing the mark is about 40 out. Lockett's put it on its way, and this one doesn't look all that flash either. 1 point, I think. 1 point only, so that's 5-6, is it, Bondi, or 5-7?
5 goals, 7.
5-7, yeah. So it's 18-15 to 12-17. 30 minutes have been played. Hogg about to kick the ball back into play. Brings the traffic around the member side of the ground. Not much to speak of up there. Off the palms of Harvey. It went to ground. Picked up and hand passed out to Tony Free. He pumps a hand pass to Mitchell. They've both been prominent. Mitchell scooting away. Accelerates. Had a couple of bounces. His hand pass wasn't the best, but it found Smith, and Smith lines him up and may have kicked his 2nd goal for the quarter. He has. That's his 3rd for the quarter. So there you are, the Tigers. I think there's no doubt about it. The Saints have certainly taken the pressure off, but the Tigers have come home. They are 13-17-95, but they're well away from St Kilda. 18-15, 123.
Thank you very much. Let's get to John Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 52 points, 20-12, 132, Fitzroy 11-14, 80.
But the ones that Lockett has missed, I would say, even allowing for a couple of uncharacteristic kicks, 10 would have been okay. From 13 shots, he's got 5. Ball in the centre, thumped out by Harding. Went to Nash. Nash kicked it up, and it was marked by Pickering. Pickering hand passed to Underwood. Underwood hand passed across to Powell. Powell in turn runs around, puts it on the ground. Now lines it up from 40 metres and kicked a goal. Touched. Danny Frawley got the phalanges to it before the leather sailed through the goals. So Richmond 13-18-96. St Kilda 18-15-123. 31 minutes. Danny Frawley, full-back punt road, kicks it out. Looking down there for and finding Morris. Morris has been held. Don't pay the mark, but pay the free kick. And Morris has been paid because he was pulled off the ball. And the ball now comes out towards Ralph Smith. Here comes Lambert. Didn't go for the ball. I saw that. The umpire didn't. Back to Ralph Smith. Runs around. Lopes into the kick. A long ball. Lockett versus Hogg. Hogg is shepherding. The umpire didn't look at Antrobus. Just kicks it into the post for the second time. Antrobus kicked the point before and nearly split it into sprinklings of saplings, and the ball went behind. I was trying to think of kindling, Ron, because I'm an expert at lighting fires. I was with the 5th Morty LHC Scouts and got an honorary mention for fire lighting, and I'm not an arsonist. Richmond have been defeated, and St Kilda kicked. Meanwhile, back at the footy, Richmond 13-18-96 have been defeated by St Kilda 18-16, 124. That quarter going 4 seconds under 32 minutes. For St Kilda, Lockett booted 5, and so did Lowe. 2 Coghlan, 2 Pekin. 1 Antrobus, Harding, Newport and Rice. For Richmond, Scott and Smith booted 3. 2 Nation Waitman, 1 Young Powell, and Gale. That is all. Let's get the final score again, and goal kickers from Cardinia Park, Sam Newton.
Young Knights who spent more time off the ground than on it today. He jumped up from the reserves bench very smartly, looked as if he might have had a bit of muck on the pluck and stalked off. And Underwood must have a lot of friends at St Kilda because he shook hands with everyone inside.
Thank you for that. Let's get a score from John Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 46 points. Brisbane 20-12, 132. O'Brien 5, Hardy 5. Lead Fitzroy 12-14-86.
So winners today, St Kilda over Richmond and Geelong over Essendon. And it would appear Brisbane Bears over Fitzroy. This is 3W Football.
The others try, but now back to Rex Hunt and Bill Jacobs.
Thank you very much. Richmond were defeated by St Kilda today by 28 points in the end, and a fair effort by Richmond to get back into the game. For St Kilda, Lowe and Lockett kicked 5 apiece, 2 Coghlan and Pekin, and for Richmond, Scott and Craig Smith kicked 3 goals each. Here's some better players with Bill.
For Richmond, Pickering, Gale, Free, Turner, Smith, Bauer, Nation, possibly Mitchell. For St Kilda, Lowe, Winmar, Morris. I'll put Craven in, Burke, Harvey, Devonport and Grant.
Kane Bondy's got the story on paper.
Well, for the winners, St Kilda, Burke had 13 kicks and 12 hand passes. Devonport 16 kicks and 7 marks. Harvey had 7 kicks, 19 hand passes and 8 marks. Lowe had 12 kicks, 9 marks and kicked 5 goals. Tony Lockett took 11 marks, had 13 kicks and kicked 5 goals, 8. Russell Morris had 18 kicks, 6 hand passes and 6 marks. Gilbert McAdam had 14 kicks, 6 hand passes and 4 marks. Tim Pekin had 9 kicks, 14 hand passes and 4 marks. Ralph Smith had 14 kicks and 8 marks. Nicky Winmar, 17 kicks, 5 hand passes and 3 marks. For the Tigers, David Cloak had 12 kicks, 14 hand passes and 11 marks. Tony Free, 19 kicks and 7 hand passes. Brendan Gale took 8 marks and had 8 kicks. Michael Mitchell, 12 kicks, 5 hand passes and 4 marks. Chris Nace had 18 kicks, 11 hand passes and kicked 2 goals, 3. Michael Pickering, 8 marks, 14 kicks and 6 hand passes. Craig Smith had 21 kicks, 12 hand passes, took 7 marks and kicked 3 goals, all in the last quarter. And Dale Waitman had 10 kicks, 10 hand passes and scored 2 goals. The free kicks on the day, 19 to St Kilda and 19 to Richmond.
I might have missed it on the way through, Bondi. Tony Free?
Tony Free, 19 kicks and 7 hand passes, 4 marks.
Okay, before Ron just sums up this game, let's get a score from John Murphy. Yes, and we'll go straight down to Cardinia Park after Ron Barassi sums up. But before Ron does that, we'll vote today for the Carlton United Breweries Player of the Day. And Bondi, you're always adding up, so we're going to let you go first today.
I gave 3 to Craig Smith in a losing side. I thought he had a fantastic game. He finished off well in the last quarter and scoring those goals. I gave 2 to Russell Morris. I thought he played an excellent game for St Kilda across the half-back line. And I gave 1 vote to Nathan Burke. Even though he finished the game on the bench, got a heavy knock in that third quarter, I thought he had a fantastic first 3 quarters for Richmond, for St Kilda. So 3 to Smith, 2 to Morris and 1 to Burke.
Here's Bill.
Well, I gave 3 to Morris. I thought consistent pretty well all day, and in a day when I suppose you could group about 8 or 9 together for your best 3, I gave 2 to Tony Free and 1 to Smith.
Here's Ron Barassi.
Yes, I gave 3 to Russell Morris. I thought his work was first class today. A lot of marks showing his experience, and he's one of the best buys, if you can use that expression, that St Kilda have made for a long, long while. I gave 2 Burke. I thought he was terrific, very strong at the ball, very consistent, hardly made an error. And young Naish vying with Smith for my 3rd vote, so I finish up giving it to Naish.
I gave 3 votes to Stuart Lowe. I thought that Lockett was down early. Well, early, he kicked 5 in the first quarter, but between the second and third quarters, I thought Stuart Lowe kept that forward line going. I thought he was very, very good. His knock-ons were good. He ran and he made areas where they could kick the ball. I found 2 for Winmar. I just think he's terrific. I reckon he's great for St Kilda, and Craig Smith has already been mentioned, and I gave him my 3rd vote. It sounds like I couldn't find a vote for Russell Morris, but in retrospect, it would seem that I have erred, because looking back, we called the name Morris a lot of times, but we don't take it off stats. We take it the way we see it, and I gave my 3 the way that I saw it through my peaky boos. And here's Graham Bond. I think Morris might have it.
Yes, Russell Morris will receive the CUB tankard with 8 votes on the day. Craig Smith with 5, Nathan Burke and Stewie Lowe 3, 2 apiece to Free and Winmar, and 1 to Chris Naish of Richmond.
Here's Ron Barassi.